got that.
You said you're gonna poop out the chat?
I'm gonna poop out the chat.
Alright, big bet. You gotta go, you gotta go.
I'm gonna configure my video real quick. Oh yeah, I like that. Like that nice pigment. Like, yeah, that's Dimension. I love that color. Just, that's the kind of richness I need from my light right now. So that's all good. That's all set. I think. Okay, we're all good. I'm going to be right back. I need to get my water and.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I got you. Setting up, do 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 do, setting up, do 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 do. There we go. Hello, I'm just setting up. How's everyone today? What's up, Jacob? What's up, King Snake? Hello, hello. I can see the chat now. Yes, I was tweeting, so I was not looking at it before that. My autofocus is on? Okay, fix that. Oh, I hope it doesn't fuck my camera. Don't fuck my camera. Don't fuck my camera. Come on, don't fuck my camera. Okay. I just want to take autofocus off. There we go.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you can actually sit in, cause you know. In a corner. Oh, then yeah, of course.
What did Mama Cud say?
All right.
Oh.
My bad. My mom was talking about sitting in on FGC Woke, and I was like, I didn't think that was a terrible idea. She had to be in the corner because I can't have her just saying things, because it might embarrass me.
She'd be like, yo, fuck them. I'm like, oh shit, Mama Cud's damn.
It's like, sweet Jesus.
My dad texted me and he took a screenshot of the Facebook post and he was like, ooh, and I'm like, oh, you want to tune in, man? He has a Twitch account. So.
See, I like that. The support from parents it's appreciated. It's needed. Let me turn.
It's definitely needed.
Down my phone. We don't need this. Right
oh God, damn.
Because you're gonna get blown up by Boo, and you're gonna be like, well, I can explain. Hi everyone.
Hello. Just let my Discord know that we live.
Oh, I should probably say that on Twitter. Oh, I forgot.
Oh, I just did that on Twitter too. Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. Oh, I could just retweet what you put. Okay, we'll do that.
Listen, if it work, it work, baby.
I swear we'd be the most retweetingest that we put something on the tweet mugs ever. I love it that we are live.
It's a collaborative work.
It really is. Come hang out. Yeah. that works.
What magic is this? What do you mean what magic?
All right, got it. We're good. Okay. it's that duo. There's that live stream. You know, we're technically in the same place, but we not. That's how that works. But it's 6. But it's 6 o'clock, 7, depending.
7 yeah. It's you know, it's not. We're not late. You know, we're not late. If anyone's want, you know,
we're actually in the time frame of yeah.
We're in the time frame of us starting. Yeah. Yeah, y'all did not come late. That's for sure. Oh man.
How's everyone? How's everyone holding up? Dwayne's fired up. Let's go.
Let's get woke.
Hey, love.
How's it going?
Oh, the topic for today. There's just so many.
Oh yeah, we're diving into a lot of stuff. You know, there's so much stuff that we wanted to go into today that we decided to make a bonus episode, like, for free. So, like, usually how we do is, like, we have one free one per month where we stream on Twitch, and then we have one bonus one that's purely for our Patreon, that's exclusive to Patreon, that you have to pay $5 to see, or you can donate higher if you want to. It's up to you. But since we had so much happen since our last cast, which was only like 2 weeks ago, we decided to run another one, and now we're doing another one for free for you guys here.
Now I want to say this because I feel like this is if there was a conclusion to what happened originally, I don't think we would be talking about this, all of this, because if there was a conclusion, but the thing is, the conclusion reopened up, and we're like, well, we gotta respond now because that conclusion was not a conclusion. It's like a to be continued, and then it continued, and then it was not what I expected. I did not expect any of that.
No one saw none of it coming. I was like, oh, we're being very vague right now because when we get the actual cast started, we're gonna go into all of it, but we haven't started yet. We're just waiting out for a little bit.
My bad. I didn't want to.
Right now.
I didn't want to, exactly. Milk it too hard that soon because I was like, there's so much to talk about.
Big bet.
I was like, oh shit. Oh, commissions. Possibly once I warm myself up to doing physical artwork again, because you've seen me doing it, right, Deluxe? But I don't know if I'm ready to do commissions for people. I just started working back into doing artwork for myself, and that has been something. But in the future, if I do, I will definitely post it. I'm quite vocal. I will let people know. Yes. Just want to throw that out there. My bad. Hi, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I'm just eating food before we get started because we never eat during these, so.
We never do. I'd be looking forward to the food after.
I got myself that young burrito bowl.
Oh, those are so good. Oh, I love those.
Same?
I miss them. I like the steak one. You make me want to go and get some food from a place. And I remember one time I got fajita veggies. And my boyfriend at the time, we ordered food. And he's like, okay, the fajita veggies is fine. I said, okay, whatever.
I you literally put on his voice to say that shit. I'm dead. You legit put on his voice.
I had to. The whole thing was like, he's like, oh, it was for you. I was like, okay. Had raw onions in it. My breath was terrible for like a good 24 hours. I couldn't even kiss a mug. I was so mad. I said, since 3 years ago, I haven't gotten fajita veggies since.
Yo, let me tell you about real love. Let me tell you a whole ass about real love, dude. My man, before I took off from Frosty, we had one last lunch together or something.
Yeah.
And he had raw ass onions in his motherfucking business. And I'm a good hoe because I still kiss that motherfucker. So I was like, you know what? I'm definitely ride or die right now because I'm dying low key.
Right.
I did not complain once though because I'm a good girl, but still.
Because it's still a kiss. It's still a kiss. It's a passionate, smelly kiss, but it's a kiss nonetheless. It's coming from the person you care about. But no, I feel you. Because then.
Oh no, he flat out was like, oh my god, I feel so bad for you right now. I didn't know they had raw onions, and I'm like, I didn't fucking know either. But here we are.
Like, sometimes we gotta sacrifice for the greater good.
Listen, he's too pretty to not. So
right, like
order for him.
Like you're like, hey, it's fine. I could go through this. For my man's, I'll do it.
Yep.
You the ride or die. That's how we do.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if you can only see your man once a month, you're gonna fucking put up with that shit.
Oh.
If he orders wrong, okay?
Oh hell yeah.
These are facts.
Like no, I completely agree. Like okay, yeah, okay, it's onions, but will onions get in the way of me making out with you? No, it will not.
It's like, what are you willing to endure? And it's like a chart. You know what I mean? Like,
bad breath. It has to be at the top. I feel like that has to be at the top.
that's the final straw. It's like, yo, that's how you really know that's the one.
If you can handle it, just. And okay, I'm gonna say it like this: if there's tongue involved, a mint has to be thrown in there at some point.
Oh yeah, best believe you'll throw a mint up in that bitch. Like,
oh.
Oh my god, SB was just like, yo, someone's trolling through the food porn channel with hot dogs with ice. Literally, as you said that, SB, Sauceberg is the one who did it, and he talked just underneath you. I'm dead.
Wait.
What a little stinker.
Wait, what's hot dogs with ice? What do you mean?
No, so what happens is I have a food section in my Discord where people can post pictures of good looking food.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker posts, Salzburg posts, pictures that are like disgusting food. So he'll put a slice of Kraft Singles cheese on top of a piece of bread with a hot dog and ice.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Who made you this way?
Oh, oh my god. Oh god.
He used to post good pictures of food. He used to go out and get cool shit. Now we gotta deal with this.
Now you got hot dogs with ice in them.
I don't know.
Ice on them.
Yeah, there's ice on them, dude. They blinged out hot dogs. Damn, dude.
Bling out hot.
Is that a discrimination drum? No, we can't start yet. We're just waiting it out for a second here.
Yeah, we don't want to start too soon.
Yeah. When we start the cast, you guys will know.
Because the tone changes quite. Yeah.
Yeah, this is where we talk to chat for the start part. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you all get to talk to us about the other things first before we start just whoosh, and then yeah. That was supposed to be we lay down the law, but cracking the whip works too. Whoosh. I like that one. That one works.
So just to give you guys a rundown of how the cast works for those of you who might be new. Basically we start off by just thanking our sponsors and thanking people who contribute to our Patreon. Which, by the way, if you want to contribute to our Patreon, we would love for you to do that. We go into the cast itself, where we don't really talk to chat that much during the cast. We just kind of do our own thing and kind of go into each topic and section by section, like a regular podcast would. Then at the end, we actually conclude with a question period, where you can ask questions to us, either regarding the topics or in general, and we kind of just hang out with you guys and talk about everything.
We did just do a special for our Patreons cast. We did a non-live one, but where we talk about different topics that aren't just the ones about the FGC. We for our FGC Woke Discord, we have a channel where people can recommend topics that we will talk about if they are sub to our Patreon, so they get a say and we discuss and we can go. So if you all like those kinds of things, not just talk about one topic, but multiple topics, and wanting to hear our insight on some of the things that you all want us to talk about, then yeah, definitely feel free to sub to our Patreon and support, because we are conversationalists. That is for sure.
Based off the last, oh my god, yeah, the bonus episode was absolutely insane. Also, so for the FGC Book Discord, it's exclusive to just our Patreon. It's a Patreon only Discord. So when you sub to the Patreon, it automatically gives you a link to it, so you can join in then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yes, we do have a Discord. We're talking. So will we be sentencing someone to execute? No, execute. We're talking about the Tiger King thing. Ohio had some of the loosest restrictions involving exotic ownership. Why am I not surprised? A lot of places don't have that, it seems. I didn't even know that there were that many tigers here. That documentary was very eye-opening. I was glad to have watched it to know to understand more. I honestly thought zoos were establishments where there was it was all legal. I did not know that. I didn't. I knew that there were a lot of species that were endangered. I didn't know tigers were one of them. I didn't. So it was. I loved learning about that.
I loved learning about the people who own these tigers. That shit was even more fucked up to me.
Like whole circles, groups. Some call it a cult. So it was crazy. I was like, oh, some of these personalities, these figures. Joe, top of the list for me. I was like, oh my god, his life was so. There were parts of me that felt sorry for him, but there's other times where I was like, you are such a leech. You are leeching off of people who you're preying on them and their emotions. It was hard for me to kind of, I was like, my whole thing was, so if he cooperates with PETA, does he win? I mean, does he get out?
I don't know.
Because that was the cliffhanger for me. I just because everybody turned on him because he messed over everybody. So everybody's like, all right, we got you now. We got you. We got something for you.
I'm just pulling up stuff for our ads. I can pull up the links for the ads that we're running.
All right. Hi, Probable. Hey, Terminato, SB.
Cool, I'm good. Okay, cool. So,
Brand, everyone.
You ready to rock?
Yes.
You hear the police? Yeah, my background always has sirens going off, so it just because I mixtapes fire, so that shit getting ready. Like you can't not be prepared for that shit, you know. Where the fuck is my mouse?
How'd you lose it?
There it goes on the other monitor. I was like, where'd it go?
Thanks, baby. I believe Dwayne just subbed.
Wait, to the Patreon just now?
If I recall correct, if I'm seeing this correctly, yes. I think I have glasses on. I can read. I think. Thank you. We need a little thing where we do something where we're like, yeah, thanks for the thing, and we do the thing, and then when people do that, I think it's really cool.
We do the thing. How about we just commit to the cuddle shuffle, and then what do I do? Oh yeah, I do a dance thingy. So we could do the cuddle shuffle into finger guns.
Okay,
yeah.
I could do it. Yes, yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, cuddle shuffle.
Finger guns.
Finger guns. Finger guns. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the support. I appreciate that. And y'all have really been showing us a lot of love, man. FGC Woke on Facebook already has 500 plus likes. Yeah. So
y'all blew Facebook up. God bless.
Yeah, and then Twitter has 200 now, and it's everything's really coming together. It feels good. It's a lot of things to keep up with, but I'm really glad I have Alicia to talk to and to really we bounce the ideas off of each other and we talk about what we want to discuss for these things because it could be really easy to just be like, for everybody, but that's not how we want to do that. That's not. There's better ways. It's been a very interesting week, hasn't it, chat? Based on social media. Yes, there is a Facebook page, yes. Oh. But I know before we start, we will be presenting ads first, right?
Yep. So here, actually, let's just start it right now. Let's just jump into it.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Starting with Sharpie, Purple Sharpie's ad, correct?
Yep, we'll start with that one. Got it. 1 second. Here, how about you play the other one then? We'll do the Patreon one. So just do the Patreon stills. Nikki, do that one. I'll just read off and thank each name on there while I pull up the link for the other one. Girl, stop zoning out. All right. So FGC Woke would not be possible without y'all. So thank you so much to the Patreon subscribers. If you guys want to check out our Patreon as well, you're more than welcome to. On our Patreon, if you pledge a few bucks, you actually get a bonus episode that's exclusive to just our Patreon. So if you want to check that out, get bonus content that's not even available on Twitch or YouTube anywhere else, only available to y'all. If you subscribe, make sure you check it out. Special thank you to Jate, Pastor Herbs, Kyle, Chris, Dominic, Rel, and of course Sharpie and Cypress, because they put a lot in to keep this ish going. Here is a link to the Patreon if you want to contribute and show some love. Yeah, let's show the next slide. The one that's yeah, that one. Vex. All right. Then you can pull up the one where it's like the still of like the link, not the other one, the ad one. FGC Woke, patreon.com/FGC Woke, that one. I can hear you. Yeah, don't do the next. Don't do Titan Monthly. Do FGC Woke, patreon.com/FGC Woke. That one. It's in our chat. It's underneath. Um, that's all good. We're new to this, so bear with us. On the bright side, it's getting more screen time, So. Yes, you guys are checking out our Patreon. It's FGC Woke. Patreon.com/FGC Woke. Contribute to our Patreon for bonus episodes and content. If you want to support us, support what we're doing out here, and also just be able to shoot the breeze. Pick stuff that we get to talk about outside of just FGC stuff. You're more than welcome to do that as well in the Discord, exclusive to the Patreon. So hope you guys subscribe. Hope you guys check that out. And Cuddle and I really, really appreciate it. Mhm. Facts. All right, let's jump over to Titan Monthly. So we have AXL Monthly Titans coming up. It's going to be happening this Saturday. It's going to actually be a charity event. So for $5, you can go register on Smash UG for PC Tech in Action. All of NA is welcome. It's going towards charity. It's going towards helping against COVID-19 relief, the battle against COVID. On top of that, we'll be collaborating with Disrupt, of course, AXL, and Equinox Gaming. All amazing teams. I'm really happy for this to be pushing forward. We also, on top of that, have a matcherino going on, so there is a bit of money involved for you guys to win. That's right. So you guys can win some money, but also if you donate if you sign up, you get to donate $5 towards a good cause as well. It's a little bit of both. Por qué no los dos, friends? So you want to sign up for that bad boy, here is a link to it. So be sure to check that out and sign up for some good ass Tekken coming up this Saturday. Cuddle's already in there. You want to fight Cuddle? You want to fight Shadow? Want to fight Jody the Great? Y'all want to throw some hands, some L train action, some in veins? Get in there. Mm. Coming together. Yeah. Hell yeah. Cool. And that should. Oh yeah, then Sharpie's one. Here. Here's the link to Sharpie's one. No problem. And now we're jumping on to one of our top contributors. Actually bought ad time on this, so we're gonna show off this fabulously talented woman within the FGC. You know, she creates content, she's vocal, passionate, has been killing the content creation side of the game. If y'all want to go drop a follow on her, check her out. Bam, here's a link to her Twitch, and let's show it.
Look, if you touch me 2 times and I'm still alive, don't fucking talk to me. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't fucking come for me. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, let me remove this. Hey. Oh, I can't hear you!
I'm muted. Hello.
I said it's my
I was
fault.
muted during the ad. I didn't want to talk.
Oh.
Okay, we're good now. Hello, everybody. How's it going? Here we are again, back with FGC Woke episode 4. We'll be diving into a topic that we might have heard a little bit earlier on, about maybe 2 weeks ago or a week ago, or so. That rhymed. Where basically, there's a lot of crazy shenanigans that happened in the scene. Tensions ran high. There's a lot of discrimination in this nation, baby. So this is what the episode is called. It's what we're diving into today. you know what? It's a scary ass time for everyone right now, and um, we thought that we concluded with it last time we talked about it, but then more stuff came up between then and now. Cuddle and I have been getting DM'd constantly about our opinions about this, getting tagged and everything. So we decided, you know what, let's run another podcast for free for everybody and do a follow up and talk about all this with everyone. So that we can all have a good old chat.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely the best way to do this, because like Alicia said, we've been getting messages like crazy about this. I got text at 9 a.m. talking about this, and I'm like, I don't really want to talk about this right here, you know. I'd rather talk about this in one place on the podcast. And I was like, because this, you know, this is a very good place to do it, and I like discussing it with you and with our audience. It makes sense, instead of saying it to like one person in a text, and, you know, kind of talking about it but kind of not, and then you have to restate your opinion like 80 times. And we're gonna get into all that.
So, as you guys know, or maybe you don't know. So, if you don't know, here, actually, I'll give you guys the rundown a little bit of what we talked about last time, right? Just to kind of dive straight into it, is that we talked about LTG. We talked about Sarah Blast a little bit, and we did not even realize what was going to happen. We did not realize everything and anything that blew up about it. So basically, our first time around, we were like, oh, you know what? Like, it's really messed up. I'm surprised LG hasn't been banned before. Like, this is like one of those times where, you know, like the thing about today in this day and age is so important for us to recognize when someone's at fault for something. And people are like, oh man, negative publicity, just giving them more publicity. It's like, no. We're now in a day and age where if you band together and you grow together and you care about one another and you form a group together, and then move forward to protect something, such as your rights as a human being, that's different, right? Giving someone clout for them being like, yo, you're shit at Tekken, yeah, right? Like, and then like blowing them up for that, right? That's negative publicity, that's that, right? But there's a difference between those two, right? There's one there's one where it's drawing attention to it, and the other where it's creating a movement. And creating a movement is where you're actually facilitating change, where you're talking toward tournament organizers, where you're talking to moderators for certain platforms, right? That's the difference. So making sure people understand that difference before getting into this is really important. And, you know, keep trash talk to being a part of the game. You know, it's about the game. Don't make it about people, right? Listen, if I turned to you and cooked your ass and I was like, yo, you shitty, and they're like, oh, you shitty, right? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You don't even know how to play the game, blah, 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 right? Like, that stuff's fine. That's just beef between people when it comes to the game. It's when you see those elements and you make it about the person themselves, or even about, like, their race, or make it about their orientation, or, like, anything. It's just dumb. Don't do that, right? More than 3 brain cells. That's all we ask for. So speaking of less than 3 brain cells, getting into this part is we talked about LTG being insane across the board for years now and not being stopped. And then even back then, right? We at this time when we had the cast, we didn't actually know about Sarah saying the N-word at the time.
Wait, right? Hold on. Question: why are we saying it like the N-word? It's not. He's not. It's that. She's not using the actual one, so we can say the other one because we're black people. We're black people.
Yeah.
Stop it!
Why am I
Stop this!
I'm like censoring myself for no reason at all. What the fuck?
I just I was like, no.
I was like, and this evening on the news.
Stop. Yeah. Oh, I'll let Alicia talk for that. Yeah, she's also black, but. Yes. That was asked, but yes.
Yes.
Slaps. No! Say it! Continue.
So my dad was born in Ethiopia, and my mom's Indian. She's born in Kerala. So, hello. Yes. So basically, the whole rundown is, so Sarah said nigga, made an apology for it. Like, back when we made the last cast, though, we didn't know, right? This did not come out yet. We had no concepts. We made the cast being like, yo, LTG needs to stop this shit. This is fucked up. We talked about the clip. We talked a little bit about Chris G, because like that's also fucked up stuff about like people being so racist towards black people in the community in general. On top of that, talking about like homophobia, talking about transphobia, talking about everything, right? We just dived into a bunch of it.
And we didn't know.
Said nigga.
We didn't know. We thought, and honestly, I'm gonna be 100. I thought Sarah was completely innocent in this. I did not know it would take that kind of turn. It doesn't matter either way, you know, wrong is wrong. But,
yeah.
Oh my god, that was just like another layer to a cake I wasn't expecting to eat. And it was insane. Continue though, because I was really just not feeling that.
So basically what happened is that when it all came out, the first thing that happened was people started DMing Cuddle and I like crazy. Like, did you see what Sarah said? Did you see what Sarah said? Blah, blah. Like, do you regret making a stance? Do you like blah, blah? Like, oh, you're really going to defend somebody who says something like that, right? I'm like, okay, listen, right? At the end of the day, is that they're both wrong. Okay? They're both wrong. It's not about us choosing one side or the other. Both are shitty in this scenario. That's just facts, okay? We're not out here being like, oh, well, this one is a bigger grievance than the other. It's like, no. Of course, one's gonna personally affect us more because we are colored.
Yes.
But at the same time, I'm also personally offended because I don't know if some of you might know this, or some of you might not, is that I actually am gender fluid. So it's like stuff like that does bother me as well. But at the same time, like beyond just a personal level, as a humanitarian level, both bother us, and it's not like, oh man, I wouldn't defend somebody because they said something. Like, listen, they're both wrong. They should both stop doing it, right? So to give you more insight, since then, right, Cuddle and I were like, you know what? Yeah, we need to do a cast about it, talking about saying nigga. I've talked about this on the cast before. I've talked about this extensively, the importance of saying nigga and why it should be continued to be said, and why it shouldn't be why we should stop saying it, right? I'll go through this in a really brief highlight patch notes of it, if you will, little skibbery-doo. If you want to hear me actually go in about that, I do it on episode 1, I believe.
I thought it was 2.
Is that...
Either way, yes.
Oh, it might have been 2. Actually, it might have been 2. Yeah. Basically, what happens is the power of a word is taken back by the people who were discriminated by it when they use it themselves. When other people use it outside of the party or group that is discriminated, it is now being used against them. And that's the thing. Even if it's used in a friendly way, and even if some people might accept you saying it, it's not your place to. Because you need to understand the historical significance of why it's even being done in the first place in a familiar tone. Right? And that's what bothers me, is that if you don't understand that concept and then you go forth and blame black culture
for the reason why
your goddamn history, like shut the fuck up. Right? It is so stupid. It is so stupid. Right? And it's like,
it's disrespectful.
You know, it's disrespectful. People were like, oh man, like, you know what, you defended her, like blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, I would defend her again. That was unnecessary what LTG did. I didn't take down my post defending her because at the end of the day, he was wrong too. Yeah. He was wrong too. And defending that makes sense. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with the other stuff she says.
Right. But that doesn't mean we ignore that, you know, LTG is a very corrupt influencer in this scene. And that still needs to be discussed as well. Both need to be discussed. But it's just, unfortunately, they came at the same time. You saw the post that came up of, people were like, well, what about Sarah saying nigga? I'm sorry, what about? Are we supposed to completely ignore the fact that LTG has been spewing hate speech and harassing people for years? So we're supposed to just go, oh, look, Sarah said nigga, let's forget about everything else. No, honey, that's not how this works. We can address both.
Exactly. It's so messed up because it's like, at the end of the day, right, your girl's so frustrated. Like, at the end of the day, right, it's like, it's not about us picking one or the other. It's one person being shittier than the other, so we defend the other person. No, we I don't want to say we hate, but we dislike this stuff
strongly.
And I mean, I hate the actions that are committed. I hate the actions. Hating people, iffy, but hating the actions they're committing, definitely, right? Yeah. Like, it's got us mad heated because it's like, when you're someone who's a public figure and you're behaving this way, you're creating a mass discourse, okay? And that's not acceptable. That's unacceptable. To continue forth about why it's even this is just the base level when Cuddle and I decided, okay, do you know what, we should definitely do a follow-up cast, okay? Right. Yeah, let's do a follow-up cast. Then more happened, and we didn't even realize that was gonna happen.
We didn't even know.
Like,
Oh.
like, okay, so Sarah in the next part, right, said the first apology, and then
it was a terrible apology, by the way. Continue though.
yeah, it was a shitty apology.
It could have been better.
Some people though, like, were down for it, like some even like people like listen, I saw a lot of people of color being like, yo, like, all right, you know what, like, I hope you learn from this, like, I'm not happy about it, but I hope you learn from this, and like, you know, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, wait, they say nigga like 24/7 on stream, like, that's not just a one-off thing. And then
recent,
we were like, what?
Recent too, and somebody, you know, bless those clips. Somebody took the clip and put, oh yeah, no, she said it again, and I'm like,
And then there was the big one, like the one that, like, I was like, okay, no, like, get out. And that was, if you guys haven't seen it, basically, what she continued to do is, she was on stream and she's talking to chat and she's like, listen, like, in New York, right? Like, everyone says it, like everyone says nigga, and it's because of black culture. We're not at fault. It's black culture that makes it acceptable for us to say that.
And blamed our culture for the reason why you aren't educated in the fact that nigga is not your word.
Like,
it's a
I'm sorry that we're using our word, and you felt entitled to it because you're not as dark as we are. I'm sorry that that's what happened. Great, cool to know. Like, it's wild. It's wild. Like, yeah. And like the thing is, right, is that, like, listen, like, I fucked with Sarah prior to that, right? Like, we talked, like, online and stuff. Like, they come to Canadian events and stuff, and, like, you know, I always say hi. Like, nice person. Like, I used to be a bit more shy at events. So I didn't really talk too much to them. But nothing ever off. I've never been like comfortable enough to even hear them talk candidly before. So it's not like I came out of here with, like, out the gates like, oh, I don't like this person. It's like, no, I actually thought well of this person prior to all this, and it definitely does skew my image, because at the end of the day, right, if you can't respect who we are, because, like, you can't turn your color off, okay? We can't come out here and turn the color off. We're always gonna be colored, so you can't act like that's not a part of who we are. You can't be like, oh, we gotta separate your gameplay, the fact that you're a female, away from, like, the fact that you're colored and all that stuff. You need to put them all in separate categories. It's like, no, we're always gonna be colored women, and we're gonna be playing these goddamn games. Like, it's not gonna change that. Yeah. And yeah, I guess that kind of goes into the next part. Like, worse and worse, right? Worse and worse. The next apology comes out. And we're like,
did you? She completely.
One day. It took one day.
and she yeah, that, you know, that, and pretty much, yeah, no, because I thought it was in because it was in the clip blaming black culture, and then what was the other tweet after that? There was a tweet, and the apology was like, sorry, not sorry, kind of thing. It was the responses inside of the tweet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a response inside of the tweet. It was like a reply to somebody being like, it was basically like, sorry, not sorry for saying it. And I was like, how can you make an apology and then redact your apology and comment back to somebody? Right. What the fuck are you doing? That is the most ingenuous thing. Because just read the comments back, right? Like, if you read the actual statement itself, it's like, okay, it's an apology. It's a bad apology, but it's an apology. But then if you read their comments below, like the ones that she herself posted, those are so off base. Those are so off rip. I'm like, the fuck is that? Like, that is not even close to your apology message. Yeah. Like, and then one step further than that, right? Like, putting out, like, oh, you know, like, I think one thing that really, like, hit hard for me is that, like, people do make mistakes, and some people are just not educated, right? Yeah. They don't, like, I'm not saying, like, oh, they don't know better, so, like, no, but, like, they're still at fault, right? They should know better. But at the same time, right, you know, some people aren't educated well in these areas. They don't understand the historical significance of it all. Can you up your mic a bit? Cuddle, can you turn my mic up?
Oh, yeah.
They don't understand, like, I'll, like, wait a little bit.
I just did.
We good? We good now? Like they don't understand the cultural significance behind using it. And that's the thing, right? Is like, yeah, your friends be saying it, like people around be saying it in general, and I get that, right? I get that, like all your friends are saying it, like people around you are saying it, you feel comfortable with them, and maybe some of your friends even let you say the word around them,
exactly,
right?
which is
Yeah,
very possible, very possible.
yeah.
But
And you know what? That could be possible, but don't fucking do it, right? Just because they give you permission, there's no such thing as the N-word pass. It's a joke, people.
or a pass in general for that. I'm gonna be 100 because if you said
yeah.
a pass to me is if you could say it around any group of black people or whatever, you know. But if you can use it with, you know, your particular group of black friends, but if you went to a whole other group of black people and tried to say, what's up, what's good, my nigga, and then they're like, you're going to get your butt kicked.
Yep.
What? No. Those are different kind of black folk that you're around then. Because not every black person is the same and would give you a pass, because they won't. I wouldn't.
And listen, it's not even a real, it's a joke, people. The N-word pass is a joke. Don't think that it's a real thing.
Who generated
Just because
the
your
pass?
friends say it and then you say it around them and they laugh about it, it's because a lot of the time we laugh it off because we're like, okay, whatever, like it's a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, like at the same, and it's like, oh, it's our job to correct your behavior. Really? So when you act the fool, we're supposed to
Forgive
correct
you.
We're your parents. We're your parents now. Okay, my bad. You know what? Gotta blame black culture for that one. I'm sorry. You know what? My bad. You know.
Have you
yikes,
noticed?
You know, if I knew.
Have you noticed though, like, people of color are always told to be the forgiving ones. We're always told to be more understanding of non-black people or non-people of color. You know, like we are supposed to be the ones to educate, to teach. But what are these other ethnicities doing to learn our stuff instead of making excuses and using words that aren't theirs? If you really were down for what we do or as our culture, you would understand why that word is not for you to utilize.
Yep.
But you don't take the time to. You would rather make excuses and blame a culture that you're trying to emulate in certain ways. But
Yeah.
we are.
I mean, it's clearly trying to emulate. If you're, and that's the thing, right? Is that they're saying that they're submerged in black culture, thus saying it felt natural to them because they're submerged in it. Listen, if you're submerged in black culture, learn about it, right? If that's your excuse, learn about it. Because if you're that much at the center of it, and you're using it without understanding its relevance, then clearly you are not submerged in black culture enough to understand its relevance.
Thank you, because if
you should be educating yourself.
I agree, because if you're really like submerged in black culture, baby, you would read books by black authors. You would read, you know, the literature. You would watch the movies. You would read the articles. You would understand, like you would support the causes. A word is not. That doesn't show your support. That doesn't show a damn thing. That doesn't mean a thing. If you don't understand what it's really like to be a part of or you know, an ethnicity or a culture, maybe you shouldn't be learning about it, or maybe you need to reevaluate how you're approaching that. Because wearing, like, for example, wearing a certain hairstyle or saying a certain phrase, that's not you. Oh, I have black friends. I understand. No. That's not how that
That's
works.
cultural appropriation. That's what it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's you taking cultural identity away from a culture. And the thing is that I understand when people want to start like showing their flair and appreciation for black culture, really want to start doing certain things like, in a sense. But it's such a sensitive line. Like this is where I really kind of want to like draw sort of like the comparison here is that you know, some girls try to wear cornrows who aren't black, right? And it's like, and this is where I personally think it's kind of messed up, right? And people can have different opinions. That's totally fine. Like you're entitled to your own opinion, right? Listen, this is just a podcast of us talking about how we feel, right? At the end of the day, if you feel different about this, that's your own thing. But for me, the reason why I feel I'm actually against people doing that if they aren't black is because that is something that is done with a unique type of hairstyle, like with a unique type of hair. And it's like let us have what we have. And it's like, listen, like if you have sorry, I think I heard your dad yell in the background. God bless his soul.
I'm sorry. I can't. And the door's closed and everything. It's just he's really loud and I can't.
I love Papa Kids.
Apologize because I really, trust me, everything's closed and everything, and he's so loud. Like I'm so.
God bless his soul. You watching sports right now?
He's watching a movie with my mom. He's just really, really loud. My dad is just very boisterous as a person. You know, there's those people in the world that are just everything they feel, it's times 10 when they like express. Yeah, so they'll say it really loud into the heavens, and that's my dad. He's like, anyway, continue. I'm sorry yet again. This is just one of those days where he's really loud, and sports sometimes does that too. I don't.
Yep. But one thing I do want to address, actually, is a little bit of a side note. One thing that's really important to me, for everyone, I even addressed this in a comment that was made on a post that I made, was that don't misgender Seroblast, right? And the thing is, don't lower yourself to other people's level, right? Hold yourself to a higher standard. If they fuck up and they say something terrible, don't say something terrible too, right? Don't. We are allowed to be upset. We are allowed to be angry. We're allowed to be upset with them. That's okay. But to lower yourself to their standard is a whole different game, right? And I was saying is that you are entitled to your outrage. You're entitled to your anger. It doesn't matter what race you are in this situation. You can be white and be upset over this too. You can be Asian. You can be whatever and be upset about this, right? That's okay too. It's okay to be upset over this. But to misgender somebody and also take that approach is messed up. Right? It's a lot of people will be doing the quotation marks she, quotation marks they. I'm like, no, stop that. Knock that shit off. Be better, right? We talked about educating ourselves. Hold yourself to that same standard. Educate yourself too, right? Be better than that. And that's the thing is, like, I want you guys to be proud and outspoken and speak up for what you believe in. But don't do it at the sake of discriminating others in the same sense. That's not okay.
I completely agree. What a great point, because yeah, you're right. Don't be as ignorant as they are. You can speak facts and state your outrage without stooping to that level. And then actually that makes your discussion or your debate point even more valid, because it shows that you know how to, like, you know, properly, logically form an opinion and convey your point. Yes, instead of, you know, taking something that has nothing to do with what you're discussing and you know, like, yeah, stooping to that level. I completely agree. Misgendering should not have even happened at all. It should not with this situation. It shouldn't have. It should have been about what she said, and that is it. Because that was bad. It was disrespectful. That is all we need to talk about. It's not about anything else. Nothing else. No, don't be ignorant.
And one thing that, like, you know, this hit hard to me was actually somebody, when I was streaming the other day, was like, Alicia, like, how come everyone's blowing up about LGBTQ stuff and they aren't talking about, like, the racism within the FGC, right? Oh. And it's like, it hits different, right? They're like, why is it that this is taken so seriously, but when it came to, like, the racism element, no one took that as seriously? And you know what? It hurts. It hurts. Like, I don't know what exactly to say to that. To be like, that's the thing, right? Is when I read it, I didn't even know what to say at the time either, and I still don't, right? I had time to prep for this, and I still don't know what to say. Like, I'm just speaking off rip, right? So, like,
oh wait, sorry, 10 seconds before you continue with your point. I just want to say this is not drama. I always feel like drama, it's almost like it's stating that it's not that it's he said she said stuff. This is not drama. This is that's like some petty like, you know, somebody was slightly inconvenienced by something. No, this has affected tons of people. And I feel like drama is really downplaying it. And I mean, it's just, you know, the way you feel like it is, you know, if that's how you see it, that's fine. But I just want this to be big. Drama's like, oh, he you know, stole my girlfriend back in high school, something like that. But this is not what this.
Yeah.
This is so serious. And that's just my opinion. But I just want that to be known. This is not drama.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's one of those things too where it's like, I understand that at the same time that, you know, that it hurts, and that, like, racism within the scene is not really talked about the same degree. And the thing is that it's up to us to carry ourselves in a strong way and to be diligent and to make it so, right? To make what we want become a reality and to make it into existence. And honestly, there's been so much racism in the scene for years now, right? So much. And it's, you know, and it sucks, but at the same time, it's like, what are we going to do now? What's the action that we take now? And I mean, one of the best things that you can do now is calling it out, right? Is calling it out, battling it out, and actually just getting down to business and be like, do you know what? Like, nah, like F you, F what you do. Like, that's not acceptable. But that's the thing. It's like, don't lower yourself into someone else's standard. Don't be doing something crazy like that. Like, just keep the point to what the point is. If someone's being a racist piece of shit, call them out for being a racist piece of shit, right? But don't suddenly change it and shift it and be like, you know what? Like, if like, let's take all these outside topics, pull them in to combat you. Like, no. Like, make it about what the issue is. Address it head on.
Right. Exactly. And that's what it should be. It should never be about anything outside of that. It should be about the point that you're trying to convey, like you said. I think people need to remember that.
Yeah. So when it comes to like everything too, I mean, I talked about this before when I talked about commentary. This was actually in the first episode of FGC Woke. Was weirdly enough, when it came to me commentating, right, is that like, yeah, some people get like upset over female commentating, whatever. Like whatever. There's some people who are just shitty like that.
Yeah.
Well, the weirder ones was like the comments I get about my race, right? And I'm like, what? Like, why? Like, what's going? Like first, people would be like, oh man, this trans fat bitch, right? Born female, fun fact. So it's like not even. It's one, it's not true, and two, that's not an insult. That's just misgendering someone. So that's even weirder to try to make that into an insult. Two, like, yeah, I'm chubby, but I can get it, bitch, so shut the fuck up.
Hey, let's go.
Three, right? It's like, I don't understand the point of DMing someone and just being like, oh man, you N-word with a hard R, blah, 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 you fat bitch. And I'm like, why is that the first thing someone says to me?
Right.
Like, why is that the first thing you say? Like, why? Like, listen, you can not like my commentary. That's fine.
Then focus on that. So then why do you need to focus on something that has nothing to do with that person's commentary? Because it's a whole lot of prejudice. They don't want to see their scene, they don't want their scene to have color within it. And I think that's honestly what it is. They can't handle it. They want their games to have just the same colors of people, white people. Like, there's tons of different types of people in this world. That bring a tons of different
we got like 6 black people in Caliber, okay? We got 6. Okay,
like,
we're not other game categories. Everyone's always like, "Yo, FGC like has mad diversity, so why is it racist?" Listen, we have 6 black people in Caliber, right? And still, that shit. Still, I won't lie to y'all, right? When it comes to the actual like people who play in the scene, that there is not racism to be found there, right? There's the people who aren't top players. Some of them are racist as fuck. I won't lie to you. Some of them are real bad. Some like they're casual racist as fuck. It is so sickening. Like I was in like someone's Discord. I'm not gonna name whose Discord. And someone's Discord just being casually racist as shit because the person who owns the Discord is black. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, are you serious? Like, is this happening? And then the person lets like go. They don't even call out the person. And like, I'm like, listen, I don't care if you're a top donator. Fuck you, right? I would ban your ass in a heartbeat. Fuck you. I don't need your money. I don't need
It's that dirty money. At that point, it's dirty.
Right?
You don't want dirty money.
Fuck your ass being racist and shit. Like, fuck you. Listen, like, that's dumb as hell. That's dumb as hell. No amount of money, right? Listen, I will sell out for almost anything, dog. I won't lie to you. I'll do anything to get to the mighty dollar. But that's fucked. Right.
Like, that's not right. No, for sure. Yeah, there's actually in regards to this topic, there's actually something that that black women were talking about recently as well about this, and I really want to talk about this in regards to the racism in the community. Black women not feeling like on top of that, one, they're black, two, they're women, so there's the sexism and racism involved with that, and the fact that they don't feel like their concerns are heard. That was like actually a really huge thing. Like one of my girlfriends, she was making like she was discussing that with me, her own scene, the Connecticut scene, I believe, and how racist they were, and how she was really good. I think it was Guilty Gear, and how she had to leave the scene because of how they were treating her. They're really racist. She said she might write like something about it.
That's so
she was OG. She was OG, right? And even people like Burn Your Bra and Q, when I had them on my podcast before, like months ago, and they kind of had some of the same like discussions about like treatment.
Your dad, I love him to death. We
Yeah,
need to make that a soundbite.
Oh my god! But yeah, like that, and things that black women have dealt with, like things that have been said about them,
Yep.
By other players and nobody regarding it. And that's the way the Black community also feels as a whole when it comes to racism in the scene and how that doesn't seem to be addressed. But then they're like, but you'll address another group's problems. But even on top of that, to add another point to this, with Black women and them feeling like their concerns aren't heard, it's a shame when your own men and some of your own women, no, especially some of the men, will agree with things that are discriminated against those women. So they've had these problems, and their concerns are very valid. I've seen it. You see things. People give away how they feel on social media, things like that. Really odd comments, but and they speak very loud. But it's like, is that not enough? And that's how they feel. Like, we're speaking, and then they speak with the most. They're very frank about everything and what's happening, and there's too much evidence. Like it's all there, and the whole thing is like, what does it take? What does it take? Because honestly, it's there. It's I might need to. Sexism and racism. That's what we're talking about. We're also talking about discrimination, hate speech. Talk about the problem at hand. Talking about the problems at hand instead of talking about somebody's race or like their gender, what they identify as. It has nothing to do with like what you're talking about with that person. Don't stoop to somebody's level to state a point and state that you're upset and you're furious and you're disappointed in them. That's what we're talking about. All of that, because all of those things do exist. If you're gonna tell me that sexism doesn't exist, unless you've been in somebody else's shoes, you don't really have the position to tell people that. So yeah, thank you, because people like that actually really don't benefit the scene at all. Sorry about that. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, like in reality, right? If the thing is too, is like when we talk about all this, is that be the change you want to be, right? Like we love you guys from the bottom of our hearts. The reason why you're here, a lot of you, is because one, you want to listen in. You want to be a part of this movie. You want to be a part of this all. And some of you might differ opinions from us from time to time, right? That's okay to different opinions. We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to tell you how we feel. You can formulate your own opinions on your own time. Even if you want to formulate your opinions during this, that's cool too, right? We're just trying to lay out facts, lay out a discussion for you guys, and for you to get your own conclusions from life, right? At the same time, when creating this movement, as two people who often get reflected upon as being two pillars for the scene when it comes to this movement, is be the change you want to be, right? Don't lower yourself to anyone else's level. You are worth more than that. You are worth so much more than that. Listen, I don't care if you have a 2-follower account. I don't care if you're a 30,000 follower account. What matters the most is that you hold yourself in a regard of the way you want you to be treated. Is how you should be treating others. Listen, I don't care if you're kinky and you like to be talked to a little shittily, but like that's different, okay? That's your own time, baby. Go to your role playing Twitter. Don't do that here. Like that's different. But like
like these like but like yeah, you can formulate your own opinions and that's fine. But don't say that somebody's experiences or something that don't tell them that stuff doesn't exist, because you're downplaying somebody's experiences. And just because you haven't experienced it doesn't mean it's not in the scene. And maybe you're not as deeply involved as other people. So how would you know? That's I think that can slightly kind of go on the verge of being a little disrespectful if said a certain way.
There's something recently that I saw actually in a comment of one of your posts, where someone was like, "How is racism and sexism different for Black women than it is for other women?"
I'll let you go first.
So yeah, so I'm gonna be flat out, right? Is the reason why it's different is one, there's less of us. Two, we aren't like hypersexualized in a way of being like glorified, like when it comes to other races, they're the right type of race for people.
They're fetishized
right?
too.
They're fetishized.
Yep.
Yeah. So since they're put into like a brighter light, when it comes to us, we're seen as being like aggressive, or we're seen as being like bad bitches is usually the most common term, right? Where it's like, listen, I'm a bad bitch when it comes to what I talk about, but not like don't talk about me in that way when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like there's a line, people. There's a line in which you speak, and it's really shitty to see time and time again where people don't understand that it's a different subcategory of what we deal with, like the bullshit that we deal with, right? Is that like even though I have Indian in me, I'm not the right kind of Asian for anybody, right? Like being Indian's not the right kind of Asian. That's facts. Like that's like a shitty thing that I've mentioned actually to my partner before, was like saying, like, I've told him, like, I'm not the right kind of Asian. I'm not. Because if I was to people, then like they would probably treat me better. But no, it's like, yeah, I'm out here being darker. Yeah, I'm out here being a little bit of everything in one, right? Like it's like not, it's just not fair. It's not fair. And at the same time too, right? This is not about us undermining what other women go through. They go through some shit. But this is actually brought this analogy to Cuddle earlier. Here's an analogy, is that like it's a little hard. It's a little of a rough analogy, but you know, it gets the point across. So it's like, listen, you're at your friend's dad's funeral, right? Like, do you talk about your dead daddy there, or do you just sit there and let your friend mourn, right? Don't talk about your friends. Don't talk about your own. Oh, oh, is it right? Okay, I should cut me off. I was like, yeah, don't talk about your own. Like, don't talk about your own like dead daddy at someone else's funeral. That doesn't make sense, right? It's sad what you go through. We're not trying to invalidate what you go through. That's the thing, right? Is that you go through your own hardships, and we want to be there for you too. It's not saying that it's like, oh, we don't care about that side. Like, no, we want to be there for you. But when there's a discussion happening and we're talking about Black women in the scene, we're talking about colored women in the scene in general, that's its own category. Right. That's its own conversation. It's completely, and that's where we focus on that point.
Yeah, no, completely. Oh, also, I wasn't cutting you off. I was going, right, I agree. I was listening because I liked the analogy that you used earlier. That's all. But yes, I agree. So the whole thing was like, yeah, it's not to say that other women don't experience hardships and sexism in different fields. Oh, for sure. And racisms. Yes, for sure. But this is different when you know, we're talking about a group of women, Black women. We're talking about them in particular. It is different. Our experiences are different, and it's important that we be able to speak about those things without having to always include other women, like white women and Asian women dealing with things that we don't deal with. It's different. It's different. It's different. The experiences are different. Even in that tweet that you saw of mine. Remember, and what that person said, there were so many white women on there in the FGC who were like, no, it is different for Black women. And I said, yo, thank you for, and they said to the T why it was. And I said, yo, I can't appreciate y'all enough for saying it. And I sent them individual thank yous because, you know, sometimes it's easy for us to kind of be like, we're hardened sometimes by the things we experience. But you have to remember that there are those who still want to like be allies and understand what you deal with. But yeah, no.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that we saw that even in the comment of that tweet, was that like when someone asked that, and then another person who's actually white like replied back and was like, "Hey, this is the reason why that it's a different type of racism," and like they were allied. They were like, no, like she was like, "Yeah, I'm white, but I'm gonna give you the rundown about why this is a different kind of racism, why this is a different kind of sexism." Right. And like it broke it down. I was like, damn, that's mad respect for you to come in clutch like that, like for you to be an ally to understand what we go through.
And it was such a good feeling, and that's why I had to say thank you to everybody who supports the Black community when stuff goes down and y'all are there. Thank you. I hope to see it more. I really hope to see it more. But my whole thing was like, the person who kind of asked how it was different, they actually got really rude about it. I said, well, Black women are seen as like aggressive, and you know, like there's a stereotype there. And I was stating things, and the person in the tweet was like, well, pretty much if I got attacked by a woman, I got verbally attacked by a woman because I asked a question in this. Well, why shouldn't I agree with that prejudice then? If this is the way that women are gonna act to me, and I said, well, one, if somebody's angry and they're stating a point, I can't control them. 1, 2, I was answering you very calmly, and I was like, and then the person was like, oh well, yeah, for the most part you were, so I appreciate that. I'm like, no, this is actually where you sound kind of ridiculous.
Like, take that same approach and flip it. Like, that's the thing, right? It's like if you took that same scenario and flipped it for anything, right? If you flipped it for anything, right, they would realize how fucking stupid they are. I'm just saying, right? If they were like, oh, like, what? Here we go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Ready?
I was like, huh?
Let's use an example. Let's use an example,
I was
right?
kind of annoyed. A slash
Like,
just
if we took the same scenario and it was like, oh, white men, right? And then, and they were like, I'm just so deeply offended you say this about me being white. You know, I don't trust, I just don't trust white people anymore because of this, because they're so hostile. What the fuck? No, that doesn't make sense. Like, listen how stupid that sounds. That sounds stupid. Like be better. Like, come on.
Girl, though, like, and then when the person said, well, that's facts. Like, this is actually facts. If you treat somebody a certain way, then I'm allowed to assume that everybody's like that. I'm like, well, I said,
like,
I don't
my
agree.
God, like,
I said, I don't agree with that. I said, I don't think that's a fact. Then that person blocked me because they were mad because I disagreed. And I was very calm.
Like, could you imagine, this is like a better analogy, anyways. You breathe oxygen? Wait. But you're also being kind of angry towards me, so I just hate anyone who breathes oxygen. Okay, that's what it comes down to.
And I'm like, you aren't ready to
fuck
have
with
this
oxygen.
conversation. You're not ready to have this conversation. Like, nah, you are not ready. And then that's what really frustrates me, because I'm like, don't
even then, right? Even if somebody got like mad crazy, right? Even like, imagine like someone in your comments. This didn't happen. But imagine if someone in your comments went super off rip. They went batshit crazy. They start attacking them. They start saying crazy ass shit, right? Going wild, right? Don't hate the whole entire race for it.
Right. That's an individual thing. It's not a, gonna. And you know what also plays a part in this is media, and people allowing media to help them determine who to trust and who not to. And this goes for just whoever watches it, and then they make these assumptions. Like, for example, the news. You don't know how much news I see where they're always promoting like the negative, where they're talking about people getting killed, shot, and you know, they talk a lot about the crime. They show black people a lot, and you want to see good things. There's a lot of great black people out there doing amazing things for the community and above, but they will always show the negative too, and so it's pushing this narrative, right? This ugly narrative that, oh, you know, black people, crimes, they go hand in hand, and then people don't know how to think for themselves sometimes. So what happens is that they let the news help them dictate what to
what to think.
Yeah, and that's like a problem, because like that's how that whole like stereotype of black people being criminals, stealing, all that, like that's how that kind of stuff, propaganda, things like that, news, all of it, like there's so many there's not even a political view. It's just our president even as well. So when people who have a certain platform say certain things about and target groups of people without knowing them, and they can say those things, it puts something in people's minds. Okay, if they're saying, they're saying that Hispanic people and black people are more like, they have maybe they're more prone to want to commit crimes and like not work, then that's what. Okay, if they're saying this stuff about people, then. Yeah, maybe I should believe this too. Like that. Yeah.
Just one thing to address. Dog whistle is a little bit different. So dog whistle is subtle racisms. So what happens is the difference between the two is that if you have people who are of power saying racist comments flat out, it's not dog whistle. Dog whistle is when it's like, for example, me saying to Cuddle, it's a good one for black women. Oh, right, that you're very sassy. That's dog whistle.
I don't like
that's
that.
where that's a term used towards black women, right? To call them up for being like a happy but angry, or a very enthusiastic angry sort of thing, right? Where it's like a very defined thing, right? Where it's like, oh, sassy black woman, right? That's the term that everyone knows. That's the term everyone knows when it comes to that kind of stuff, right?
Sassy, that term hits different.
And that's right. That's the thing, right? Is that it's a dog whistle because only you can really understand and hear that. Because when the people hear sassy, they just hear it for what the word is. They're like, oh yeah, sassy, whatever. But when you're colored and you hear the word sassy, or if you're black female who hears the term sassy, you know what they're actually implying here, right? Yeah. Like it's different. That's what dog whistle is actually about.
Or the term ratchet too.
Ratchet, right? Like, yeah, ratchet's a great one, right? Listen, I joke about that shit all the time. I'm like, yo, here, girl, bust it down real quick. I'll be ratchet. Like, hold up, right? Like, listen, like when Vinny West pop on, you know you're gonna be ratchet. It just happens that way. But like, the difference is that understanding like what is at hand, right? And that's what it comes down to, is being like, you know what? If someone's using the term ratchet towards me, and it's for something where it's like, if you like dog whistles, like as I said, it's something that you need to that you yourself will hear and understand it happening. Oh God, one of the fucking worst ones for colored people. Oh, you guys will definitely know this.
Oh, which one?
Dude, it doesn't matter what race you are. You all know this one. Well spoken.
Ooh!
What am I supposed to be? Uneducated? What am I supposed to be?
Oh, she's so well spoken. Oh my God! I saw that on a comment of me once. I didn't know she was so well spoken.
That's dog whistle. That's a dog whistle. That's where you can get. They didn't say the N-word. They didn't say anything overtly racist.
What do you think I was gonna do?
Oh, dog whistle.
I'm sorry. Ooh.
Oh, you're so well spoken. Finish your sentence, bitch. Finish your fucking sentence. What, for a colored person? Is that what you're trying to say? Wow, fantastic.
Also, I'm gonna throw this in here for the whole chat and YouTube, baby. Because yes, you can. Okay, people can be well spoken and also use their slang with their tight knit group. People know that, right? Like the way I speak on a. The way I speak on a podcast, even though so formal, I'm still lax right here, it's gonna be different than the way that I speak in an interview. But I know how to use both, and that's because I'm educated, and I know how to use both. Like the variety.
Yeah, you're speaking white, or you're or like you don't talk like you're black. Yo, fuck that too. Listen, we can be well educated. We are well educated, so we speak with a candor. Fuck you. Right? There's not a certain way in which I'm supposed to speak. It's like me saying, every redneck white person being like, right? Right? Everyone, people speak. There's people who are well educated who speak properly in actual realistic sentences that are not these crazy ass cartoonish outlandish behaviors, right?
Yes,
that's the thing that they project that onto us, where they treat us like we're cartoonish outlandish behaviors. That is our default, and if we're outside of that, then we're an Oreo.
Right.
Like, no,
like we're caricatures.
No. Yeah, we're trying to care. It's like it's wild.
Yeah.
And like that's the thing, right? Is that don't let that shit slip. Like I'm gonna be real with you, right? Like I know I always talk about pick and choose your battles, right? Like stick up for what you believe in. But you know what? If someone's gonna talk to you that way, even if it's your friend, call them out for it. Just call them out for it. You know what? And you can do it in a constructive way. You can do it in like because that's the thing, right? Sometimes when you get hostile with people, like they double down on their opinion and they get defensive and they don't actually learn. But if you just point out to your friend, like for example, like, yo, dude, you sounded mad white right now. I'd be like, listen, dude, sorry, I have an education. Is there a problem with that?
Is that a crime? Like,
yeah, like, oh, I'm sorry, dude, that I had a degree out here. My bad. Like, I'm sorry, I have a good job. My bad, dude. Like. Is that what you're saying? That we can't have good jobs? Is that what you're saying right now? Like, fuck them up mentally a little bit. Hold them accountable for what they're saying.
Yeah, right? that one, ooh, girl, that one hits different. Because my interview, one of them was like, in my interviews, I speak very well. And in general, I can speak well. I write well. I speak well. That is something that's learned over time for many people, especially when you're in the public eye. Not everybody, but a lot of us know the art of it, right? So, somebody did say in the comments, I saw it. It's like, oh, she's so well spoken. I don't know how to take that, and it's sad that I have to think that because it could easily be, wow, what a great speaker, and it could easily mean that. But it's sad that I even have to think that because, and also because the moment I want to use a little bit of slang, I'm given the term ghetto. That doesn't make sense. Like if I'm gonna be like, nah, I ain't all that. Like I'm gonna speak the way I want to, but I can also speak very well too. But like you turn it on and off, like the occasion for it. That makes sense. And black people, we if you have slang, like you speak slang, whoever you're comfortable with, but. People who are in the public eye know when it's time to use it and when not to. Of course. Like, that makes sense, but that doesn't make you less black for doing that.
And it doesn't mean you're acting white for doing that either. It's just having common sense and understanding a social scenario. Of knowing which way you want to act. Right. Listen, you can carry yourself any way you want to. And if you want to act a certain way at certain times and other ways than others, that's all. Yeah. Bring back our bar, baby. Bring back the bar. All core, no cuddle. Bring it back, baby. Bring that shit back. I love that line. And he left and came back. That shit was great from last. If y'all were not here for the last one, y'all need to go check that shit out. We went hard. It was a little bit more negative than this one. We were a little bit on blast. We were a little bit off rip. We were a little bit negative that time around. This one we're a little bit more positive about stuff, talking about solutions to issues, talking about stuff. But last time, her and I were just mad heated. If you want us just to spit bars and just go hard and be mad toxic, but like low key, like that's last episode. It's getting uploaded, I believe, like sometime this week. So if you guys want to check out last episode,
yes, actually, yes, it should be today if I can just work out that download issue. I got it. But yes, it's just
this one's a little bit more positive.
Like
actually, we talked about LTG, which is like why I got toxic, because her and I got mad heated about that shit. But like,
he should have been. Speaking of LTG, I'm sorry, because we're gonna talk about solutions too. Don't worry. Don't get us wrong. But I want to talk about one more thing with him, and all of this. I mean, maybe there's a couple other things. So he's like, I've never been a fan of how he goes about getting his fan base. The whole thing, like, kind of like creating this toxic scene and generating this negative like aura to you feed off of that to get money, and that's actually like very scummy. And people are like, well, LTG is just that's a persona. I said no. If you have to use that kind of hatred for a persona, that's not a persona. That's what you actually think. I don't get passes to anybody. No, like that's no. Like, you are literally spreading this kind of like, you're enabling people. Those are the kinds of people I'm talking about. You're enabling people to go out there and be as sexist and racist and homophobic and everything as much as they want. When you say stuff like that and you're just feeding it and nobody will even like say anything for years, this is what you get. This is what the whole scene gets. I'm not saying like, I gotcha. No, this is what we're receiving. This is what's happening now. Because it was so downplayed in certain respects, not all. Yep. And because of that, now this is what we have to work with. And there's been so much damage done, but not just him either. And
the thing is that like, I want to just address something really quick. Is that there's someone in chat who was like, like they're like LGG was right about the Sarah thing. Like, listen, like that, like that's not okay, right? Is that being transphobic and being homophobic is not okay? But you know what's also not okay? Racism, right? Like, listen, Sarah was saying nigga's not okay either. We are all on board about this. They are both wrong. We're not taking one side more than the other. We're just saying they're both wrong, right? And one's behavior doesn't justify the other's. No. Listen, like, one person saying something shitty doesn't mean that the other one's like now has less weight. They were both being shitty, okay, and that's facts, right?
Right.
It's like, right, that's right. Two wrongs don't make a right. Like, that's it, right? It's like, and listen, I was like, Cuddle and I were both fucking outraged.
Had no idea.
We were outraged.
I don't follow Sarah like that.
Yeah, like we didn't know what the hell was going on, right? And then we found out after, like, oh, like Sarah had been saying nigga and all that stuff, and people are hitting Cuddle and I up constantly, being like, so do you guys take back what you say?
No, I ain't taking none of that back.
Nah. Listen, LTG's a piece of shit still. That didn't change. Listen, that shit still rock. Like, listen, that's it. That's facts. Doesn't mean that Sarah's not a piece of shit either, though. They both are.
Exactly. So like there's no pick the sides thing. There is no pick the sides. There is no pick the sides on this. This is literally two people definitely doing wrong and both not owning up to anything. And so it needed to be addressed. And so what happened? Both got banned. And before anybody says, oh, well, LCG didn't go to events, yes, he did. Yeah. There are tons of people who stated that they saw him there with his little quiet demeanor. Like he didn't, like he doesn't talk the most schmack. Nah. So the whole thing is, they can both.
You guys really think he didn't go to Evo?
Like, he wait.
Yeah. Like, come on.
Ooh.
Come on. Ooh. Anyone who's FGC goes to Evo. Like, come on.
And like, he just made sure he was real quiet, though, because he knew he would get his ass kicked if he said anything. Anything. And if they saw him, definitely somebody would have thrown hands. I know it. There's no way. Because the black community, a lot of them don't even like him. And the whole thing is like, you know, I know the Black community feels the way they do. They're like, hey, yeah, what about our concerns? I'm like, yes, I get that, but can we, like, please, overall, speak up on what's wrong so that this can address, like, this will help us in the future for other things that need to be addressed about targeting certain groups of people with racism. And, like, but it's like, oh, well, they said this. Should we care about this? I'm like, yes, but hello. Like, what are you all really doing?
Care about it all, right?
So
care about it all. And listen, on top of that, if you're really upset about racism, still care about LTG because he's still be out here calling people N-word monkeys. I'm saying N-word for a reason because he says it with the hard R.
Yeah, that's a little different
monkeys. He said hard R monkeys towards black people. What the fuck, right? And y'all, and like that's the thing, right? We talk, and if you're talking about someone who has actual platform like that, he's got a platform. When he says shit like that, he gets other people who say the same shit, who emulate him, because they want to be like, oh, LTG, get that ass banned. You know, people mock him a lot. People make like these jokes. They try to personify him. They try to act like him, right? Because they think it's funny. They think it's funny behavior. So they'll quote him. They quote him on dumb shit like this. And you're okay with that? And that's the thing, right? Is that don't suddenly hold back on somebody, right? That's the thing, right? Is that at the end of the day, right? I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be blunt about this. I'm gonna be blunt about this because this is just, you know, this is me personally, right? Is that when I see someone of color do something wrong, I usually try to second guess and try to be on their side, right? I'm like, listen, I don't want anyone going against you. I try to protect, like, yeah, protect your own. Like, I don't want someone to fuck with you. Like, I hope you're okay, type of thing, right? Try to get the benefit of the doubt each time. Not LTG, right?
Oh,
that's something that's been going on for too long. That's different, right? That's the thing. Is a lot of people I feel like too, right? Where it's like you see a person of color like getting like high key attacked now, and maybe you're new to the FGC. Maybe you're new and you don't know low tier God like that. Maybe you don't know the history of things that he said. All you know is that he said one like transphobic thing, and now people are blowing him up. No, he said a slew of things, and now finally we're at the tipping point, and people are like, well, why didn't you do it sooner? When he was saying all the N-word shit, when he was saying all the stuff with the hard R, when he was calling people monkeys. Yeah, I'm really sad that didn't happen sooner.
Yes.
But what matters is that it's happening now.
Right. You want us not to do anything at all? Like, hello? Like, what?
Like, are we supposed to wait for the next time? Like, no. Like, we're now having this discussion, and that's the thing is that understand that, like, it's like, listen, it's upsetting and it's heartbreaking that it didn't happen sooner, and I get that. I do. I wish it happened sooner. But at the end of the day, right, is that it's happening now. And I know that it hurts that it wasn't the issues that maybe you cared about that were the ones that were the tipping point, but at least it's happening, right? And that's what we need to care about too, is that not the way in which it happens, but the fact that it's happening.
I agree. It's happening. It's better that it's definitely happening, and we get to that's one less like negative influence in the scene, and that's important because, you know, the more we're like the more that is shown that we don't accept this, that we aren't okay with this, that's good, because that shows that that this isn't condoned, like, you know, and that is good because, you know, it makes people think twice about trying to act like that. It makes the scene safer. So the more things we do to like put people in place, you know, like keep them in check is what I mean. Keep them in check. Because some things aren't okay. Discrimination is not okay.
You tell them, baby.
Yeah, we gotta weed these people out. I don't care how long it's been. I don't. And the internet is such a strong source. Like, there's so many ways to go about doing things. And there's so much change that's happened already, and so many people that have been banned already. I think it's really good change. I think it's really good. It's really good. Yeah.
So, talking about kind of like recapping through a lot of this, right? Is that okay? We'll address these parts first, and then we'll talk about Christy after. To be honest, I do want to talk about that today. I know. It's just that this fucks with Cuddle a lot talking about Christy, but we're gonna talk about this first. I'm gonna talk a little bit about solutions, right? I'm talking about we talked about issues. What do you do to make things better, right? We all feel a little bit trapped and isolated, right? Whether you be trans, whether you be a part of the LGBTQ plus community, whether you be a person of color, whether you be not, maybe just existing, like there's just a lot of negativity going on, and maybe you're just like, you know what, I want my friends to feel safe in this community. Like, listen, I get that. You can be an ally. Listen, if you see like your black friends getting shit on for some reason and you want to stick up for them, you can do that. Like listen, like that's the thing, right? Is that we talk about a lot of this stuff too. And there's also one other thing I want to bring up too, is that like if if you see like your homie getting attacked and stuff like that, like not like you know what I mean? Like even in like a friend group, right? I talk about this a lot too when it comes to like mental health and mentality, is that sometimes your friends will like egg you on and dog you and like it's all jokes, like you're just having a good time. Sometimes you get a little savage. It happens, right? Like that's okay. But like if they hit something that hits different, you know what I mean? If they hit something that actually does get you, call them out. You can call them out and hold them accountable for what they're saying. Like what I usually do when someone says something fucked up is I don't even go, hey, don't say that. I go, hey, just so you know, you said this to me, and I'll like reword it back to them, and they're like, oh damn, I didn't mean it that way though. Like I'm like, yeah, that's what happened, right? And they're like, oh damn, my bad. And I'm like, yeah, that's the thing, right? Because it's like they like need a minute to process what the hell they just said, right? And that's the thing, right? It's like that's happened to me before. My friends are like, yo, like Alicia, like blah blah, I grew up in the hood, but look at you now, like, oh man, like right? They try to like act like that, right? Which was, I mean, by facts, right? I did grow up in the hood, so I kind of get that to their perspective. Like geographically, I was located in the hood, but right? It's like, oh, it's because like now, like when I talk normally to people, yeah, like I do like have a bit of slang in how I talk because that's just how I was. Like how I grew up. At the same time, like I'm very formally educated. I went to 2 universities. I also went to a film school after. Yes. I also became a producer, and now I own a company. Like, listen, I'm well spoken now. Okay, we're at the, like, yeah. And that's the thing. Is like well spoken now. Like question mark. Like that's the thing. It's such a weird tenuous thing. But it's like, oh, Alicia, all grown up. Now you can talk properly, and like stuff like that. Where it's like little jokes, like little snippets like that. People who knew me back then, right? People who knew like that. Like, and I'm like, come on, like. You need to figure out what the fuck you're saying, right? I'm like, okay, cool. So what you're saying is that back when like I grew up in like oh, because I grew up in a black community. Oh, because I grew up like when I grew up with people from Preston. Oh, because I grew up with like, that kind of shit, right? Where it's like, it's so fucked. It's so fucked. And like even further than that, right, is where people will be like they don't know me. They just don't know who I like. They don't know me. You know what I mean? Where they're like, oh man, why is this girl trying to act hard? Why is she trying to act like that for? Oh, she's trying to act black right now. And I'm like,
what is acting black? Excuse me.
What does acting black mean? Hello? Have you seen me 1, 2? Like, are you like? You don't know me. You don't fucking know me. Right? And the craziest part is I see this shit when I'm casting in the chat, and they're people who actually are part of the scene. These aren't random. These are people who fucking like play the game, are part of the community, and they come to offline and try to act like they know me. Yeah. Shut the fuck up.
Like they don't know me. They don't
you
know
really
me.
Don't know me.
I think there's a song about this.
So stupid.
I think T.I. made a song about it. Anyway, I love that. That song is pretty hot though. But the point being, they don't know you. You guys should listen to that song, by the way. But yes, the whole point being, it's not a persona that you put on. That's who you are. If they don't know you, they really have no place to say, oh, she acting hard now. Oh, you from the hood. You from the streets. You don't know me, baby. You don't know, like, at all. No, you're right.
But that's how you correct the behavior, though, right? Is where you're like, hey, this is what you just said to me. You flat out just said, like,
you bring to their attention.
Yeah, like that I'm not black enough for you. Okay. All right. What the fuck does that mean to you? Right? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, what is your definition then? Give me your definition. Like, right? I can give you African Canadian history up the fucking wazoo. I can tell you every single region of land that was given to African Canadians in Canada. The land given to them after Emancipation Proclamation, even from the Americans coming up to Canada after getting free land. I can tell you all that shit. I can tell you about the Triangle. I can tell you about the different sections where Africville still even fucking exists in Nova Scotia. I can tell you all this shit. Right? I can tell you the history of my people and where we came from. I can tell you the history of everything going down. And you trying to act like I'm not black enough for you? Fuck you.
That's black.
Who are you?
That's black as fuck. Right? That's black. That is.
It's like
you know like, about
like,
the
what the fuck am I going to do? Like, what more can I do for you, bitch ass? Like, I don't gotta do anything to prove anything to you.
And you never.
How dare you come at me like that? And that's stupid, right? Where it's like, oh, because she's commentating and she's saying like, because like, I have like my little catchphrases where it's like, oh, low is popping, booty's dropping, oh, the mix up, take him to the wall, baby. Oh, like. And then people are like, oh, man, she's trying to act black. I'm like, shut your ass
like,
up.
One, like, I am already. One, I am black.
Where have I been? Like, hello? Like, stupid ass? Like, oh. Like, it's so dumb.
I just, and then that can be very frustrating because it's like, there's no black committee to say, we the committee have deemed that this is what black is. Court is adjourned. That is what we do. This is what it is. No. Like, black is not some list we can just check, where we check off what it encompasses. Black is knowing about where your people come from, understanding the struggles, contributing to the causes, but also representing yourself and wearing your ethnicity with pride. You know, and in a very healthy way, which is what you already do. Black is not just, cookie cut A, B, C, D, like that's what you are. No. It's so much more. But understanding where your people, your people and where they come from, and recognizing, the struggles, their accomplishments, what they contribute to society. All those things do matter for a lot too. So I think in being educated too, that's a huge part of being in tune to your culture. So I think that's amazing that you already know that, because I know black people that say, man, I'm so black, I'm so hard, all this. I'm like, I think you might have your ideas of what black are mixed up, because it's not about what's emulated all the time. Like, you might see certain things on TV, like this is one like display of what black is, but that doesn't mean what it is overall. Like, you might see maybe. For some, it's like, being hard is like being gangsta, doing all the stuff that they see on TV. That's hard. That's being, a true black person, a true black man or something like that. Yeah. No. Black is not, it's not just that. It's what you make of it. And I would like to think in a positive way, because, we don't want you out here causing wars and stuff. Like, no. Or, and not nothing like that, but like contributing back, giving back, expanding on the history, being a part of the change. Like you're doing right now, being one of the few black women who's a commentator, a pro commentator, and you own a team. Like that you contribute to history in that way. So that's something to be very proud of. So
and the same thing for her, right? Same thing for Cuddle. Y'all know that Cuddle is one of the best players in North America, flat out. Like, you don't need to subcategorize into anything. She's one of the best players in North America, flat out. And that's history defining, right? Not the fact like, oh, she's the first colored woman. It's like, no, she is one of the best flat out players. Yes. And she does actually shatter the glass ceiling, saying, hey, look at this, right? Stop saying that we aren't equal, because look, I'm here. I'm not only equal, I'm better. So shut the fuck up, right? That's facts. That's facts, right? So that's the thing. And that's history defining on its own too. That's the thing, right? Is like, at the end of the day, right, is that what the thing you need to do though is not only hold yourself accountable, but hold the people accountable around you, right? I'm not saying like go out there and like fight nobody, right? Like I personally don't believe in violence. Don't do that. Like, just go to them and have a conversation, or just take what they're saying and say it back to them so they can understand what the hell they just said. Like, reword it and how you interpreted it. Explain to them why it's messed up. Because that's the thing, is a lot of the time people say really ignorant, stupid shit because they don't realize it's messed up. And it's not our job to educate them every time. It's not our job. But do you know what? It shouldn't be our job, and it's not our job. But do you know what? Like, if you are in the mental state to be like, do you know what? Like, fuck it. I want to change somebody today. I want them to understand what I'm going through. Maybe it's your friend. Maybe it's your friend saying something. Because, sometimes friends be talking stupid because they feel comfortable, right? Like, yeah, it's someone you care about. Educate them. Yeah. Teach them why they're wrong, right? Let them learn and be better. And that's the thing, too, right? It's like, you can be any race for this. You don't have to be black for this. You can be any race for this. You can be whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, listen, if you're white and your white friend says some dumb shit like, oh man, like blah blah blah, you can correct them. There's nothing wrong with that. And they try to call you out for that, be like, yo, dude, like, what's wrong with you? Who hurt you to make you this way? Like, you're being mad shitty right now. Like, you can tell them that. Like, listen, your friends should be held to also be accountable for their actions too. That's facts.
I agree, because don't be like, you're just as bad as them if you don't say something. You can't just, if you don't say anything, you're not correcting them. Like, is that the kind of friends you want to be around? Is that the kind of company you want to keep? Because that says something about you too. And you want, this is the type of company you want to keep around you. And if you're not about that kind of like, either educate them, and if they don't agree with it, maybe it's better that you get another friend or a better friend group then, because that could cause some problems too.
I just laughed at what Kendra just said. She goes, "How would you get a license to say any of that of that even to exist? Imagine a DMV for that. People be in line for months." That shit fucked up. God bless your soul.
Kendra, I love her.
Oh man, like, that's the thing, right? Is that like, we want you guys to understand that, be the change you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Is that we're out here in 2020. Like, we have a voice now, and listen, I don't care if you have 2 followers. I don't care if you have 30,000. I said this before. Like, carry yourself in the way that you want to carry yourself, right? We talk about, like, people talk about clout armor and clout chasing, all that bullshit. Listen, just be you. Stay true to yourself. fight for what you believe in, and listen, like, some people in life are gonna have really shitty opinions. They're gonna be like homophobic, they're gonna be racist, they're gonna be just, they're gonna be mad discriminatory, right? And you can either stand up or back down, but that's your call. And we're not telling you to do one or the other. We're just telling you how we feel. If you want to take into account your own actions and you want to stand up for people and you want to be the change for tomorrow, that's up to you. And that's a great thing to do, but at the same time, right? I'm not here holding your hand telling you, hey, you gotta do this. You gotta be out here fighting in these streets, right? Like, Cuddle and I do that. Right? Cuddle and I be out here doing that already, right? And I won't lie, like, recently I got mad exhausted. I got mentally burnt out from what's been happening within the FGC towards race and towards everything, because like, as somebody who is a part of the LGBT and colored, people were like, Alicia, your opinion, tell us what to think. And I'm like, fuck, I don't know. Like, both are shitty. Like, what am I supposed to say to that? Like, I don't know. Like, and they're like, you do not pick one over the other?
No. And I'm like, no. And it's one of those things where really, it might not be the best idea to pick one over the other. Because both negatively affect the scene. So why can't we address them both? That's the thing. That whole group separation thing is because none of this was tackled earlier. Now we got this whole separation thing. And now people feel like it's either me or then nothing. And I'm like, all right. Yeah. All righty. Ooh.
Hi. I was doing neither fine if you just want to touch it. Cool. So just like kind of address that too, because someone in chat just brought up, like, what if you don't want to attack it? What if you don't want to back down? Listen, if you actively choose to do nothing, it is backing down, and that's fine. Listen, choosing to not confront something is okay if that's what you want to do. It's just that you need to be okay with yourself at the end of the day, right? Can you go to sleep at night knowing that you did that? And if the answer is yes, then yeah, live your life, dude. That's your life. That's by all means your decision to make, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to be able to be like, oh man, how can you live with yourself if you don't stand up? Like, no, I'm not trying to be like that. I'm just saying genuinely, like, if you're cool with, like, just backing out, not dealing with it, just focusing on what you want to focus on, that's fine too. That's okay. Like, live your life. Like, it's just that when it comes to, like, myself, when it comes to other people too, that we're out here fighting because that's who we are. We want a better tomorrow, and how to make a better tomorrow is to speak up and not to be passive. Listen, we tried this passive shit before. We've tried this passive shit for years.
It don't work, Chief. But it's also not for everyone to speak up, and that's fine.
Exactly.
If y'all don't want to do it, do you? But for those of us that do, because also this is it's a lot to take on. By the way, like, trust me, I get it. So it's all good. But we appreciate you all coming in and listening, discussing, because that's also still a part of some sort of change that's happening, which is cool that you're able to discuss this and talk with us in here. So yeah, totally fine. It's not for everybody. I would never force anybody to speak, but for those of us that do, or just even you being involved with our conversation, that's great in itself. Yeah. Get the people talking.
On top of that too, right, is like, if you have different opinions, that's okay too, right? At the end of the day, right, the only thing that, like, I personally ask is, if you have a different opinion, is don't, like, start screaming your opinion at me, right? Like, I just told you where I stand. You can choose to tune out if you want to. If you're screaming your opinion at me, I can't choose to tune out. I gotta hold that. So
and being rude, by the way, and being disrespectful. There's a difference, but
yeah.
Come on, you can state your opinion, but like, if it's like, well, I don't believe black people should have rights. You really think I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, well, you can stay in my chat? Like, there's a difference. I just
like, yeah. Like, dude, there was, like, sorry, one of your subs, I think he must have been gifted. There was no way he was, like, he was gifted, he was yes. Real. Yeah, because he was wild and banned his ass.
I didn't see what it was. I want to ask, but I don't know if I want to.
It's just like every 2 seconds he was just like, oh, like, sexism isn't real. And shit like that. It just, like, kept going on. It was like, oh, he kept saying, like, oh, it's drama and shit. And I was like, the fuck's wrong with this guy?
What else? I could have swore I saw something about black women not being able to play the game.
Oh, yeah. He said that too. Black women can't play the game. Yeah.
But you're in my chat.
Yeah, but you're in Cuddle's chat, so that's even weirder.
I'm a top player. I'm actually a world-class player. Excuse me. And I work very hard for what I
And then you want to say black women can't play the game? Get the fuck out.
This is what I'm talking about. This is actually what I'm
And I mean, I guess this is like where we shift a little bit. So we talked about some solutions, but it comes to, like, your friends, talking about, like, when it comes to people we like we occur with each and every day, talking about the movement, talking about being a part of it, no matter how big or how small you are. Like, we all have a power within us, guys. We all can make something happen. And if you choose to be passive, that's your choice too. Like, that's okay. Like, just learn to respect one another, right? That's a big part of it too. Just if you can learn to respect one another, you're also contributing in a positive way. That's important too. That's okay. But now we're gonna head on something that, like, actually Cuddle and I got a little bit emotional about before we actually started up the podcast today. We talked about this a bit earlier because she was in her car trying to back up, but like should be going sideways.
I still need to tell you about the one time years ago when I tried to back out and I like took off a side of the garage. That's another story for a whole other day. Now
That story, we'll feature that in the bonus podcast for next month. So if you guys wanna sub to our Patreon for 5 schmuckaroonies or higher if you choose to, the Patreon, you get to see a bonus episode of actually it's kind of we call it Wopecast for the bonus episode. And the bonus episode, we talk about anything. You guys can put any topic. It doesn't have to even be FGC related. It can be literally anything. And we talk about it. We just have a good time. So if you want to check out that, or if you want to go more in depth to stuff that we talked about this time around, or like something you want to address separately, you guys can always put it inside of our FGC Woke Discord. The FGC Woke Discord is only available to Patreon subs, so make sure to go check that out if you want to. Go support the cause. Check us out on exclusive content that's bonus. I'll talk about feet. Listen, if you pay the money, I'm gonna talk about feet.
I mean,
listen, I said this earlier. I will sell out for the mighty dollar, just not my race or my sexuality, none of that shit. But I will sell out in general for the mighty dollar. Okay, there's
a thing about feet that I've still been trying to. There's still something about feet that I'm still trying to understand. I like feet. I also put my feet on my dad's head, and then I also put them on my sister's face. So that's something that I like. I like feet, but I don't know if I can handle that sexually. Anyway, I'm sorry, that was very random. But the point is, feet are cool. They're hard to draw, but feet are awesome.
I'm just wilding because she's like talking about this in like a very wholesome way. All I can think about is like I had one ex who like was super into my feet, and I'm just like, they're just
like, do they suck on the toe? Is that like a thing? So like, do they like suck on your toes? Is that like a thing?
Can we not talk about this on this cast? Can we talk? Okay, listen. If you sub to the Patreon, we will talk about this on the bonus cast next one. Okay, that's the deal. That's the deal. If you want us to talk about fucking feet, we'll talk about it next one. Kendra, you did this to us. Kendra,
it's Kendra's fault. Kendra's for everything.
You shifted the topic.
I'm sorry.
So
I was curious.
Because it's up to the Patreon, $5. You guys can hear all about us talking about feet. Okay, cool.
Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Sorry.
You gotta sub for them toes, baby. Sub for them toes. Y'all know what to do, chat. Y'all know.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
My bad.
So. Using her shack voice to talk about this. I'm dead. Okay. Yo, actually, hold on. I should definitely be careful. Anyways, so getting back to point, I mean, we kind of need like little laugh, little comic relief. So what's up, Kendra? Alicia, Daddy, and that's facts. Yeah, that's facts.
Oh yeah, because you said that before too. That's funny because you mentioned it on the last cast. I was like, oh. You were talking about daddy. You said, I'm daddy or something. I was like, girl, yes.
Yeah, listen, yeah, I'm daddy as fuck. That's facts. That's facts. Listen, my stream all knows to call me daddy.
That's what it was. Yeah, but I was like, damn, girl.
Yeah. Let's go. I don't know. People are like, oh, is daddy? I'm like, no, you can call me daddy flat out. It's fine. Listen, baby girl. I call my followers and subs baby girls. Listen, I know. It doesn't matter what your gender is. I'll call you baby girl. You're my baby girls. Okay? That's facts.
I love you so much.
It's like daddy and baby girl to me are genderless. It's just, Yeah. It's what it is, baby.
And that is why she's daddy.
Alright, so jumping into the next part now that we had a little breather. Also, thanks for the raid. Really appreciate it, RJ. Is going to the next part though is I'm just trying to like think of it through is that, when it comes to talking about Christy, it gets pretty emotional for Cuddle. It gets pretty emotional for myself as well. Like, we've talked about this before, about his negative impact on the scene, about the mistreatment of Black women within the scene, about how he is someone who has influence, who is aware they have influence, who says fucked up shit like that. And we pulled up the post before. We've gone into the subject before. And I just want to say is that just to even address this further, because I don't really want to dive into it a second time, to be honest with you guys. Like we've done it before, right? We've been here, we've done that. Check the previous episodes if you want to listen into that stuff. Is that I think it was actually episode 2, wasn't it? Was it
I believe
2?
so. Yep.
Episode 2, relationships with FGC woke. Check that one out. That one's a really like crazy one. We go hella in on episode 2. Because we got like mad comfortable, so we decided to go just go off and talk for way longer. So yeah, if you guys want to ever check out really good ones on Cuddle's YouTube, go check out that one too. Yeah, when it comes to like everything in life, though, guys, like on Cuddle's YouTube channel, it's on there. Yeah, and yeah, actually, we're talking about relationships in general on that one too, so it's pretty good. But yeah, so basically, just like the full like rundown of everything is that he's someone who's influential, who literally was like, Black women can't play the game. On top of that, they're only good for sex, right? And when you have people who are influential saying shit like that, it deters new blood joining the scene, right? Like, that's the thing, is that you have people who are being integrated into the scene who are new to the FGC, like young Black women who are excited to join the scene, who are new, and then they see top players behaving this way, who are saying dumb shit like this. And yeah, it might be a dated thing to say, like he might have said it a while back, but he still said it. He still believed it because he backed it up 3 times. He backed it up 3 times. It wasn't a one-off comment, right? Yeah. And in situations like that, like what do we do, right? And like that's the question that it comes down to. And the answer is that, as I said before, it's all about you standing up, regardless about if you have 2 followers to 30,000 to 5 million, right? It's about you saying, hey, that's unacceptable behavior, and I don't support that. Do you know how powerful it is to unfollow someone? Unfollow people you don't agree with. I know that you might want to follow them for the drama. Don't, right? If you're really that peachy keen on their drama, you can look up their name and not be following them.
Go on Reddit.
Their shit ain't private. Like, yeah, if you want to go read up on them, you don't need to follow them and support them. Unfollow them. That's also stupid. I know a lot of people follow racist ass motherfuckers because they think it's wild what they say. They want to keep track of what they're saying on their timeline, right? Nah, like, stop that. Knock it off. Stop supporting them. Stop following them. Get off that shit.
I agree. Yeah, you don't have to support them. You don't have to follow them, especially if they're, if they're saying the things that you don't believe in like that. Like, why you're following them for the drama? You can really just find that anywhere else without following the person, because you're just feeding into that. But that's just
yeah, so with the sexism within, like, actually I'll talk a little bit about the European scene. I don't really talk about this often.
Okay. Yeah.
Is when it comes to the European scene for the FGC, which is like I love the European scene. I love traveling out there and gassing your guys' tournaments and stuff and hanging out. Is that your women aren't, like, the sexism towards them isn't really the same as NA. NA is a lot different when it comes to it. What they go through more is hypersexualization. So where it's like more acceptable for guys even in the venue to hit on women and to like be aggressive towards them. And it's weird. Like, it's so fucked. Like, I had to protect 3 different women at VSF. 3. That's a high ass number for only having like 10 in the venue.
What? Oh.
3. No. And I'm like, that's the thing, right? Is that I love the TOs. I love everyone at VSF. They are amazing people. But it's like, listen, like, that's not to do with them. It's to do with the shitty people who were still allowed to attend. Fuck your money. Get a refund. Don't come to my venue. Like, it doesn't make sense. I had to go cast back-to-back top 8s. I don't have time to be a security guard. I'm gonna still do it though, because I care, right? But it's like, that shouldn't be my job, right? And that's the fucked up part, is that when it comes to like our events, when it comes to NA, right, is that if you walk up to any dude and you're like, hey, there's someone who's like fucking with you or something, they don't even need to know you. They'll stick up for you, right? They don't care. Yeah. It's different over there, where it's like dudes are allowed to are somewhat allowed to be predatory to a degree, because everyone's like super like
nobody wants to
want to like
yeah.
They're like,
they don't want to step on anything.
It's a rare thing, so let's not like touch it, right? And I'm like, no,
Holy
like
crap.
Like, I shouldn't have to be a security guard. Tell them to fuck off. Like, this is unacceptable, right? It's stupid. I'm not gonna name drop the women because like obviously that's mad disrespectful to them. But like, there's one point where one person was texting them over and over again, like, where are you in the venue looking for them, and they were like, I don't know what to do. And I'm like, message back saying you're with Alicia right now. They're not gonna fuck with you if they know I'm with you. Like, they know I'm scary. Right? Like that's
oh my
right?
God.
And it's weird. Like that was because like the thing was is that like I didn't fuck with that person. I already knew that they were a predator before going into this, right? So like I knew that if they knew I was there, they wouldn't fuck with this person anymore. But it's like, damn, why is it my job to like have to go up and be like, yo, tell them I'm here so they don't fuck with you? Like, no, you shouldn't have your ass grabbed at an event.
And it shouldn't have to be your job, but it's great that you're doing it because unfortunately they aren't. There's no security. There's nothing put in place to keep people safe. There's not, especially the women. No, but now there's some security, right? But it's not for the women. It's for making sure people don't bring in certain things, so they have clear backpacks. Yeah. No guns, which I understand as well. But can we get some even more? Like, can we get some sort of organization that people can go to if somebody feels afraid or at these events? You know what I'm saying? That would be a nice. Yeah. Oh, those are not. Sorry, those were not apologetic. Yeah, I mean, they were not.
I mean, that's the thing, right? It's like that. Like the thing about them too was that like when it came to like the TOs and everything, they're a really amazing people. I'm not trying to shit on the event itself. The event itself was really, really wonderful, great people. I'm trying to shit on the people who were actually being predators at the event. I think the only real issue that I had with it all was the fact that they were aware of the situation going into it and didn't issue a ban.
Right.
And that's what I held issue with. And I was like, and they're like, yeah, but we got both sides of the story and we don't really know. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, is that the thing, right? It's like the situation. I'll give you a bit of a rundown. I'm not going to name drop anyone. So like, and if you guys know the names of the people, don't you dare name drop it. Like, be respectful. Don't name drop people. It's not acceptable around here. Situation was, there was a girl before going to this majors who was hanging out with like her scene. She goes over to like a group of people's house together. They're all playing casuals, and everyone's like basically taking off at the end of the night. She's one of the last people to leave. She's about to go call her Uber, and the dude starts making moves on her, and she's like, oh no, like no thanks, I'm like not into it. And she gets pressured, right? And she doesn't have sex with him, but he makes up the fact that they had sex and spreads it around to everybody. And on top of that was pressuring her, which is sexual harassment, right? She said no. She's trying to get an Uber to leave. Stop. She's alone with you. This is a terrible scenario. This is nightmare fuel. This is nightmare shit. Right? Before we even talk about the fact that he lied after. Before we even talk about that, right? It's like the fact that part happened is the fucked up part. And that's where it was like, okay, so this issue was brought up to me by two other people in the community who were like, hey, it was two males who are figureheads in the European scene who were like, hey, Alicia, this person's talking to me about this, like, I just want a female to be there to comfort her and like to understand what's going on. Like, I just don't know what to do, right? I was like, cool, like let Mama and Alicia take care of this, right? So I come in, I'm like, cool, what's going on? Like, what do you need? Like, they didn't give me the rundown of anything that happened to you. Like, tell me what happened. If you want to, if you don't want to, you don't have to. There's no pressure. I just want you to know that you're safe with me and that I'm here for you. Cool? Gives me the full rundown. She tells me everything, right? I'm like, okay. So I talked to the TO. So I'm like, cool. Like, I go hit up the TO. I'm like, hey, like, I love you guys, blah, blah, blah. Like, I love what you're doing, but you know what? This is happening, and I'm really worried. And the person was like, yeah, like, I'm already aware of the situation. We're looking into both sides. I'm like, looking into both sides? I'm like, okay, I can understand that. Like, listen, I can understand that too. Like, making sure that you have, like, your bases covered, making sure that, like, you're not issuing just unjust bans. That makes sense too. And I completely agree with him on that. I think he's definitely in the right for doing that. The part where I take issue with it was that it blew up. Eventually, he put out a tweet longer with like screenshots and stuff where he like tried to lie about the dates of the conversation.
I saw, yeah.
But it's like there's timestamps, so we all know the date. So his story didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. He wrote it like it was some weird ass fan fiction, and it was like hypersexualizing her. It made no sense. The continuity was wrong. He made okay. This is how you know some shit is fake, okay? I'm gonna tell you flat out. If you're writing about like a sex scene, even in fan fiction, you don't grab titty before you make out with someone.
Ooh.
How to spot a liar 101. Who goes, hello, ma'am?
Grabs titty.
Like, no, there's an order. There's a sequence, you fucking liar. That's mad verge energy. You did not get booty. Shut the fuck up. Stop lying, right? Like, trying to act like,
you're supposed
my
to kiss
God.
first and then they grab titty. I thought that was how it's supposed
Yeah,
to go.
that's how it's supposed to go.
Oh,
That's not how he
oh.
told it. No, that's not how he told it. He said, "Oh, she put my hand on her breast and like blah 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 and
Oh,
said,
sorry.
'Don't you want me?'" You didn't fucking kiss. What are you talking? There's a sequence, bitch. What the fuck are you? Weird ass porn shit.
You know, I need to
weird
put
ass
the
fantasy shit. Like,
since we're talking about this, I need to put, this is my favorite emoji for things. Oh, I really hope it's in here. Give me 10 seconds, chat, because this was, that's, nah. Hold on, let me see if I can.
yeah, Aroma, you remember this because what happened was I was like just chilling streaming when this Twitlonger came out, and someone in my chat posted it, and I read it on stream, and I broke it down, and I was like, oh cool, I'll read this Twitlonger, and I read it on stream, and I did like a dramatic reading of it, and I was like, and then I proceeded to scoop titty before even kissing her. Like, what the fuck? You are clearly lying. You are clearly lying. Like, come on. That's how you know he didn't get none his entire life. That's how you know. He learned from porn. That shit fucked up. Even porn knows better than that. Even porn knows. Don't you want me? Fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah, you said completely twisted it. The story.
Right? And that's the thing, right? Is that now you got both sides because he wrote that. So why didn't you ban him?
I do wonder.
Because that's the thing, right? It's no longer what he said, she said. He flat out made a lie of a statement. So why was there no ban? And why was he allowed there? And why did I have to be a bodyguard? That's not okay.
There's no
That's
order.
not okay.
There's like
Did
no
he get
order.
No, he's still allowed at events.
Yep.
Like, that's the fucked up part. He's still allowed. The only event that has ever banned him is East London Fighters. So bless up to them.
That's the only one?
No one.
We need all of
them.
But the thing is, like, this person goes to other things. So that there needs to
They went to Combo Breaker.
I know.
They went to Combo Breaker.
I didn't want to say anything, but
and that's the thing. Is like I love Combo Breaker, but none of us knew they were going. None of us knew they even signed up.
Likewise.
Right? So that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Is if you know they're going, then it's easier to issue the ban. But none of us knew this person was showing up until he walked up to me and said hello, and I was like,
it's like if
and
I wonder, do you think it has anything to do with how much reach the person has? I'm like saying, like, if they don't, if they, if that's somebody that's not really like spoken of much in tech, the game Tekken, I don't care, because they still don't know who the person is. I don't care. Or that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
So okay, if that's the case, then like, I mean, do you think that's another way that people would not have like a sign that they're coming if they aren't really figures or like no one in the scene? Do you think that sometimes?
Well, I mean, that's the thing, right? Is that the thing in general is like, so when we talk about issuing bans, you don't need to make a public statement. A lot of the time, bans happen through emails. They get emailed, right? They'll get a refund through Smash GG, and the person gets emailed saying you're banned from this event. And it's not a public thing. The only time where it's a public thing is if they're a larger name, and that's like, hey, we're making this stance. We hope other events take it as well. And most of the time, what happens? Okay, because I have worked towards getting other people banned from events who have been sexual predators at events. Like, it's not something I don't really talk about this often because I try to just keep it between me and the victims because I want to make sure that they're safe. But I've had scenarios where women were attacked in the scene, came to me, were like, "Hey, help!" Right? Cool. Names. Tell me what happened. If you feel comfortable. If you're not, let me know. Are you comfortable telling a TO about this? Are you not? Cool. Like, let me figure out what I can do. Right? Me reaching out to the events, like to these people and being like, "Hey, this is what happens. He's going to your event. I just want to give you the heads up." Cool. We're gonna send him an email, issue his money back, tell him not to come. Right? Simple as that. And that's the thing, right? Is that, and it sucks, and it hurts that it has to be done through somebody else. But sometimes these women are scared, and this happens to men too, because men get sexually assaulted in the scene as well. And
we spoke about this too on the last episode.
And it hurts. It goddamn hurts because, like, I talked about this one time. I'll talk about it one more time. This one gets to me a lot, so I'll try. So there's somebody in the scene who was sexually assaulted and got an unsolicited blowjob. Two from the same person, two different people, by this person. And the thing about that, right, was that since these two guys both had unsolicited blowjobs from this person. Instead of people being on their side, dudes were attacking them, being like, oh, how do you get an unsolicited blowjob? Like, how is that? That doesn't even make sense, right? And it's like, what are you doing? Like, seriously, what are you doing? Someone just got assaulted. Like, be there for them. And like, it hurts so much because this person's so fucking psycho. This predator is so psycho that she name dropped her victims in her twitlonger. She name dropped her own victims, right? So they didn't want to come out with their story. They didn't want to talk about it. She name dropped both of them, and then she name dropped 3 others that we didn't even know about. And I was like,
that was more than enough evidence. That was more than enough evidence.
That's more than enough evidence to ban.
Yes.
So why is she not fucking banned?
I do think something that comes into play with this is black. She's black.
She's black.
The problem.
And that's the thing. That's the thing, right? Is that it's this fear that like, oh, we don't look like we're banning black women. Fuck her. Fuck her. Okay, this is ridiculous. Okay, I had to pull her off of someone when she was putting her titties on the back of their head. Fuck her. Okay, what more evidence do you need? This was happening inside of the venue.
That's all.
In the venue.
Didn't you say last episode that the victims were willing to discuss, like...
Yes! Oh my god! Yeah. They were willing to discuss to TOs, right? So I hit up TOs. I'm telling them, hey, this has happened, blah, blah, blah. One gets, like, one of them actually in particular, right? So I wanted this one to agree with me. So that way when he issues the ban, I can go to other TOs and be like, hey, this is happening. That's how banning people works, by the way. You get one TO on board, then you go to the other TOs when one of them's on board. Then the person gets issued a ban across the board, right? Fuck, dude. I love this guy. He's my friend. And he was like, I will look into this. And then he dropped it. And that hurts. That hurts a lot. You know what? Because I still love him. He is my friend. But what the fuck? What the fuck? You know? And it's like, what is there to look into?
Right, it's the evidence is all there.
And it hurts even more than that because it's like in the fucking venue, right? Is that I have I'm not gonna say the game because then it would have just like, yeah. Okay. I had people in the venue, right? Where I was playing casual sets over in a different game, right? Having a blast, get a little tipsy, take a little slurpy slurp. So that's CEO having a good time, right? Your girl getting it done. It's my night off now. We done casting, right? I'm trying to cook some people, god damn it, right? And then I have 2 dudes come over to me and they're just like, hey, can you help out? Alicia, can you please help out? And I'm like, yo, dude, like, what the fuck is going on around here? Why are we acting all crazy, right? Like, just not even aware of what's happening, right? They're like, yeah, yeah, I know you mentioned before that if like something happened that you would help out. Like, you just like, you know, I don't think it's like that bad. It's just that like, because guys constantly discredit what's happening to them because they don't want to seem like bitches about it. And that also hurts, dude. If she's putting her body against you unconsensually, don't feel like you need to be like, oh, it's not that bad. No, that's shitty. If a guy did the same thing with his dick against a girl, that's a problem, right? So don't feel like you can't say it at the same level, and it hurts. Like, guys should be able to talk about this too, right? And I'm like, no, I don't fuck with that. I walk over and I'm like, get up, get the fuck out, back the fuck up, back the fuck up. They just kept saying it until she backed the fuck up and skidded away. And I was like, no, back the fuck up, back the fuck up, back the fuck up. There we go, right? Pulled her slightly off of him. Back the fuck up, back the fuck up, be gone, thought? Like, Jesus Christ, what do I need to do, right? Like, holy shit, banish that ass. Like, it's stupid. And I'm like, this, and that's the crazy part, right? It's like, and like now, like I'll level with you guys, right? Is that like now that like I'm more established in the scene than I was before, I feel like if I brought this up a second time, I could definitely get the ban issued.
Yes,
right?
I believe that.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, that's such a fucked up double standard. But even then, right, is it a double standard? Because now I'm thinking about that other girl who had her predator in the venue and I had to be her bodyguard, right? So her ban didn't get issued. These 2 dudes had to live with that girl being in the venue, sexually harassing people. And then this girl also knows whenever she walks by me to say hi to one of my players, I go, nope, fuck off, walk on, fuck off. Like, every time, right? No, I don't even try to act cordial or try to act nice. I don't care who the fuck I'm in front of, when I'm supposed to be professional or not. If she walks up, no. Unacceptable. Get out of the venue, right? Like, that is fucked. That is fucked, right? Actually, I'll drop her name. Fuck it. She dropped victim.
I mean,
I'll drop her name.
She got the whole twit longer with her stuff in it, by the way.
Yeah,
she also did on the
so
last
why
episode.
the fuck are we protecting the name? Amethyst Kelly or Titty J Tran. That's her name. Fuck you.
On Twitter.
Like, I don't know what else I can possibly say about that.
She posted a whole twit longer about it. It's
a whole
pretty
twit
bad.
longer.
It's pretty bad.
Or her assaulting people. So I guess we let that go. Yep. So that's the world we live in. Yeah, weird ass molesting bitch. What the fuck? And that's the thing, right? It's one thing. It's like, oh man, like it's drama, you know, like rumors and no. This is someone out there assaulting men. Why the fuck is this not being taken seriously? And it hurts. And it hurts. And why was that poor girl put into a scenario where she just wants to be in an event where where a dude who was harassing her is there, and then
nobody should ever have to deal with this. Like, when these problems come up, they should be addressed. But because there has never been any true order in these scenes, because these scenes are so, what's the word? I guess I could use grassroots for this too. It's super grassroots in every way. We didn't really have much money, didn't really have much order. It was kind of just very freestyle. These scenes were being built from nothing. The one thing they really didn't have was moderation or rules. And so, and that's been the case for this scene for so many years. And now it's even more of a problem because the scene is expanding. And so when these problems occur, there needs to be some sort of action taken right away. That's really important. Because that predatory shit, that's not gonna fly. One, rape, assault, racism, that needs to be addressed. Like, this is a society. There should be some sort of council, because this is not safe. And where the FGC is, it's not gonna grow anymore if we don't get some order, some direction. That whole old school, we don't talk about a thing, that's tired.
That's gone.
I personally, you want to cover your homeboys? Yeah, all right. Well, somebody's gonna get them. That's the. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say is that when it comes to that, right? Is that we were silent this entire time, right? A lot of us were just you know what? Don't draw attention to them when it comes to a lot of the issues going on. Don't give them a platform. Don't draw attention to them. We've tried this for years now. Okay, it's not working. We're trying a new approach. Get on board, or you can just watch on the sides. It's fine. We're not forcing you to do anything. We're just saying is that if you want to be the change you want to be that. If you want to be quiet about it and, be respectful, that's also a beautiful thing to do too. You don't need to be loud and proud like we are. You don't, right? That's your own right. You can still be respectful and be your own person quietly. That's fine too. But it's if you want to be a trailblazer and you want to go in this direction, yeah, fight for what you believe in. But at the same time, right, is that if the man gets sexually assaulted, right? And even if I talked about this actually before too. I'll talk about this a little bit. So there's a girl in the scene who pressed her body against me, and I was no, and I pushed her back. Literally took her by the shoulders and moved her backwards. And she continued to do so, trying to flirt with me. And I was please don't touch me. I literally said the words, please don't touch me. And then she continued to press her body against me. Because she knew that she's oh, well, Alicia's gay, because obviously on our streams I always talk about I'm gay as fuck, boy, right? I'm pansexual, so I like guys, I like men and women and anything in between, basically. And it's don't, right? This is unacceptable behavior no matter what gender you are. Don't press yourself up against somebody. Listen, if a guy gets sexually assaulted and it's an unsolicited blowjob, if it's unsolicited touch in general, don't dog him, right? Don't. Be better.
And just because you're, a man doesn't this whole we talked about this too. They assume that because you're a guy, it's just oh, you fight her off. I'm sorry, what? No, it's not about.
Oh my god, oh my god, and listen, right? You all learned this at some point in school during PDR and sex ed, dude. Y'all know is that listen. If someone says no 100 times and they finally say yes, that's still a no, right? Yes. That's how consent works. So take that into account, right? These dudes were saying no the entire time, and then bam, like it's happening, and then they cave. And if you cave, that's not consent. Caving is not consent. It's pressured. It's being pressured into it. If you took the same scenario and did it to same scenario, run it back. I'm gonna put in the perspective, like, what are the examples? Please, if you know who I'm talking about, do not say names of any of the victims involved, okay? I'm dead serious about this, okay? Before I continue on. Okay. Same scenario but we're gonna flip the genders, okay? Girl is peeing in the bathroom. She finishes up. She's opening the door to leave. A guy walks in and is jokingly pushing her backwards, closes the door and locks it behind them, and then proceeds to eat her pussy, even though she says no. Is that not rape?
That's rape.
She eventually says yes, because she's pressured and locked into a bathroom with you. But she eventually did say yes. Is that not rape?
Still rape.
Right? So now when the genders are flipped, don't fucking tell me that, oh, well, how's a blowjob unsolicited? Fuck you. No, that's rape. If you just that's literally what you have to do half the time. Just flip the genders and look at it. Look at it. That's still inappropriate behavior. Gender doesn't matter here. Sexuality doesn't matter here. That's unacceptable behavior. And that's the thing, is that people need to be held accountable for stuff like that.
And even like and talking about that, like it's like people think that, oh, you know, any guy would want a blowjob no matter who it's from. No, yep. That's not what it's about.
That's not true.
Men aren't just these sex thirsty creatures. They're human beings. They're people.
And
yeah,
I'm not going to talk about which scenario or what scenario this is, but okay, I'm going to tell you about one scenario. Okay, is that during an unsolicited blowjob, the guy couldn't finish for almost 35 minutes and he literally couldn't finish. So he had to sit there getting traumatized for like 35 minutes, sitting there and then eventually he was able to be like, okay, can we just, and like was just like, because she was finally getting physically exhausted, so he was finally able to be like, okay, and then like fuck off, right? Like, what the hell? Like, come on. Like, I don't know what else to say besides saying, like, take it seriously regardless of gender. And if a guy says he's sexually assaulted, don't dog your friends. Don't be like, oh man, how could you be upset about getting head, blah blah blah, doesn't matter what, blah, blah, blah. Just put a paper bag over her head, blah blah blah. Like those kinds of jokes. Like, listen, they're your friends, care about them more, be better. Because the scary part is that your friends sometimes are the ones to dog you like that, because they think that, like, oh, we can joke around about this because we're close. If anything, you should be the ones being like, holy shit, what can I do to help you? Press charges. Listen, okay, I'm gonna talk about pressing charges really quick. When it comes to a victim, it's all up to them if they want to press charges or not. And at the end of the day, like, if you choose to not press charges, that's completely your right. It is your strength as a victim to choose what you want to do with what happened to you. And if you choose to not report it and choose to not go forward with anything, that is still its own sense of power for that victim. And they need to feel comfortable with their decision. The moment that decision's taken away from them, they're losing power for a second time. And that's also not okay. So that's kind of like the two major parts. The other additional part as well is that banning from tournaments is different, right? So when it comes to banning from tournaments, that part can be done behind the scenes without any sort of murmur or anything, right? Which is why, like, a lot of the bans that we've had issued out, where I don't even talk about those scenarios on here, because, like, those are ones where they're closed and shut cases, where I go to a TO, I'm like, this is what happened, blah, 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 like, here's the evidence, bam, done, right? And I'm like, cool, can we please issue a ban? They're like, sure, we'll send them an email, issue a refund, right? Simple as that. Right? No, nothing on Twitter, nothing blown up anywhere. It's just bam, get them out. And that happens. That does happen behind the scenes. But the thing is that, like, we need to be there. We need to be a rock for people, because now that person, even to this day, when they're going to these events, they still think about stuff like this, and they're still, and no matter what, right? No matter how moved on they look, there's no way you can truly ever be 100% the same after something like that.
It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
It's yes. No, for sure.
And even then, the lashback that men get for getting sexually assaulted is insane. And even then, right? It's like listen, I speak graphically sometimes. I joke
you do.
around. I'm like, yo, slap some titties around, blah blah blah. Like
You
I'm very sex positive. I'm very happy about like people's bodies and appearances and talking about all that stuff. I'm very like positive about all like body image and things like that too. When it comes to somebody, when it comes to consent, and when it comes to somebody touching you though, right? Is that just because I vocalize in this way that I do doesn't mean you have the right to press your body against me. And that's the thing, right? Is that like, that's just facts. I said no. I physically moved you backwards, and you still proceeded to do that. And like the thing is that it's a situation that I still struggle with because I don't know how the fuck to handle it. You know, it's weird because a part of me was like a part of me is like, do you know what? I want to do something about this. I want to go report this. I want to go do something about this. And another part of me was just like, there's only 5 women in the entire Caliber scene, right? And she's one of the 5.
Jesus.
And I'm like, okay. So, and then on top of that, like, I thought about the blowback, and I realized that if I said something like this, what's the first thing that they're gonna do? Like, what's the first thing that people's assumption's gonna be? Alicia, we all know you're gay and she's super hot. There's no way you would have been like that would have happened and you wouldn't have been okay with it. Also, she's straight. So why would she do that? No, she was doing that while trying to ask me to host her channel after I'm done streaming. Really? That's what she was trying. That's literally the reason why she was doing it. And I'm like, this whole scenario, right, is fucked. Because no matter what I do, it's gonna either shit on women, shit on the scene, or like, I don't know, like it's such a scary environment to be in because like I still don't know to this day what I should have done about that. This happened at Evo to me, right? It's been some time. It's been some time since this happened, right? And like I see people supporting her and deep down, like I don't want her to do well. Like I don't want somebody who did that to me to succeed. And like,
because you know, yeah, they don't mean well. Like you had an experience with them like that showed who they are, and that kind of person in the scene, that's dangerous, and you know what that person is capable of, and it's done, you know. So
and it's like, and it's weird because like when you say it like aloud, right, it's like, why would like a straight person who's like really hot, like, oh my god, blah blah, like, and it's just weird because like when I played the scenario in my head of like how people are going to react, I realized that like who would have my back during this? And I really thought about it. I'm like, damn, like no matter like no, because like in reality, right, is that I am a more prominent person in the scene than she is. Like it's not that's not the issue. It's the fact that like it wouldn't be taken for what it is. It wouldn't be taken for the value of like, oh, like she touched you unconsensually. That's not okay. It would be taken as, oh, Alicia's jealous because a hot girl, blah, 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 and she's getting attention in the scene. Or it'd be flipped into something like, oh, Alicia, come on, you didn't like it, really? How, like, she's super hot, how did you not like it? Like, stuff like that. I knew it would be taken that way, and that's why I was like, I backed off. I was like, okay, do you know what? Most of it didn't happen to move on. And that sucks. That sucks a lot, because...
And it's sad that you can't rely on your own scene to have your back because of how it's been structured, and you know what would be said, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't. No, but I think every concern you had is very justified, because that is how you've seen how the scene reacts.
Yeah.
To when people speak up about harassment and you know, so many things, rape, and we've seen it.
Yep.
So it was very understandable.
And the thing is, like, now, like, that's like the major part about everything that I do, right? Is where I talk about, like, back when something happens versus now, right? Where it's like, now if the same thing happened again and I talked about it, that reaction from the scene wouldn't happen. People would back me 100%. They'd be like, oh my god, Alicia, like, what the fuck? We got you. Like, okay, cool. Like, let's make sure you feel safe and you feel okay, right?
Yeah.
Back then, at, like, Evo, I didn't have that level of support. Especially not back then. Like, that was, like, it's such a shitty scenario because it was, like, like I'm a level with you guys. Clout does matter in this sense, right? Where now that I'm more established, now that I have more clout, people actually give a shit if something happens that I say. Versus back then when something happened to me and I felt trapped because I knew that no matter what I did, no one was going to be on my side. And that's fucked.
And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't have to take clout or respect or something like to have a certain amount of followers to have for people to support you, to have your back, to make sure that, you know, things like this are taken care of, you know, where people are banned for assaulting others, you know, like it should never matter how much clout you have. But you make such a good point, because that is something that still occurs in this scene.
And it's like one of those things too, right, where it's like, it's hard because when you're somebody who's like a part of the LGBT, right, where it's like, and I don't like talk about this often, but it's like at the end of the day, right, is when people joke a lot where they're like, oh, Alicia, you're probably into it, oh, blah, blah, blah. Because, like, yeah, I do talk pretty graphically on stream and stuff where I'm like, yo, slap some titties around, blah, 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 right? Like, yeah. I'm, like, all wild out and stuff like that, and I make jokes like that all the time, right? And, like, you know, who doesn't love a good pair of titties? Like, I joke like that all the time, right? Yeah. But there's a difference. And the thing is that a lot of people don't understand that, like, one's, like, joking around and having a good time, and the other one's someone actually touching you when you said no, right? And you know, like, and I went through the scenario of being like, you know what, it could have been worse. I've been through worse than this. Like, why am I putting so much value into this? I think the thing that, like, bothered me and put value into it was the fact that I saw her face, like, everywhere, right? And that, like, outside of the Caliber scene, no one knows who the fuck she is. So it's not like, oh, she's a clout monster. She's way less known than I am and stuff like that. Like, I get that, right? But my issue is that, like, within the scene, I knew instantly if I came out with something like this that people would not be on my side. And I think and honestly, like, I'm a level with you one more step further that I've never talked about before, was, like, I invested everything into Caliber, and, like, I would play the shit out of the game. I would constantly be running lobbies at, like 4 or 5 a.m. with my friends, like, laughing my ass off, like, being crazy, and my passion for the game, like, is still there. But I noticed, like, a light in me slowly, like, kind of die a little bit each time I was playing it, because, like, or, like, when I would go on Twitch and see her live, and I was just, like, and I just know that, like, people support that, you know? Yeah. And it's, like, my scene supports someone who's shitty like that, and it hurt me. And it's, like, oh, sorry, I got a bit emotional, but it's just, like, it's so fucked, because, like, I do love the game, and everyone knows I love the game. And, like, I still love to laugh, and I still have to, like, hang out, and I still have to watch people play. But it's, like, how am I supposed to be in love with the scene that, like, glorifies someone like that? And, like, when I know damn well that if I said something, would treat it as if I'm either jealous or that I'm into it. If, like, a girl, like, does something like that, right? It's so fucked. And, like, it caused me to even be like, you know what? I need a little bit of a break. And, like, that's the reason why I haven't been streaming Caliber, like, recently, was that, like, I just needed to, like, and then even worse was that whenever I streamed, right, she'd always be starting her stream soon after when I was finishing, thinking I was gonna host her or some shit, right? And, like, and then people would be like, oh, you should go host her, blah, 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 and spam her link in my chat so I could go host her. And I'm like, and it's so, like, raw for me. It's like, what the, right? And I have to, like, sit there and be like, oh no, I'm gonna go host this person instead. And they're like, oh wait, you don't like her? And, like, instantly it's like, right, it's like shifted, it's shifting gears where it's like, it instantly is like, oh, Alicia doesn't like another woman in the scene, she must be either jealous or blah blah blah, right? It's like, no, I love, like, almost every woman in the scene. Like, it's not who I am. Like, I champion people, I support people, I love them to death. Bruh, me and Romanova, like, Amanda, besties. Me and Cuddle, obviously besties. Like, that's the thing, right? It's like, time and time again, I'm, like, loving, like, out here loving and appreciating women, pushing them up, retweeting their shit, liking their selfies, being like, girl, get that shit, right? Like, I'm out here loving people. Like, I'm out here loving people, right? But the thing is that the first thing people would ever say to me when it comes to, you know, a chick who yeah, she's really hot, she's very attractive, and yeah, like, in some standards, in some beauty standards, she is hotter than me. In some beauty standards, some other ones I can get it better, but that's facts, right? That's just how it works, is that different people have different standards, and in that scenario people would see her as being, like, the more, like,
conventionally attractive is what you're trying to say.
More conventionally attractive, right? And that's the thing, right, is that people would take it as either me being jealous or some shit like that versus what the actual scenario is. And that discourages me so much because, and then even like while I'm playing the game, while I was still streaming the game, people would be like, hey, have you heard of blah, blah, blah? And mention her name. Yeah. It's really cool to see like Caliber women streaming and blah, 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 blah. She plays blah, blah, blah. What do you play? Well, like, they'd constantly be comparing me to her. And I'm like thinking the whole time, like, and the entire time I'm just there like, I wonder who the fuck else she's done this to. Now I think about it, like, right? And it's like, but at the same time, it's weird because like, it's just, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. The thing is, like, for me, I'm one of those people who are like really body positive. Like, if you want to wear like low cut at a tournament, girl, if you want to wear your BDSM shit at a tournament, get your shit, baby. Like, that's all you, boo. Like, I'm all about this stuff. Like, listen, be comfortable, live, look how you want to look, do what you want to do. I'm not against that. I'm against you fucking touching me when I said no. That's what I'm against here. And that's the thing, that no one would ever believe me when I say that, though. They would now. People would now. And that's the sickening part. People would now believe that because I have enough rep now. But it's people wouldn't have believed me back then, and that's a scenario. That's a world I live in, right? And that's a world a lot of people live in. Sorry, that was like a big ass rant about that. But
no, don't apologize for your river. It's always the FGC. Well, we bring awareness, but we talk about the things that happen to us so that we get it out. 1, 2, it helps other people understand what it's like and that they're not alone. Remember, that's what this is all about, so never apologize. I'm glad that you felt comfortable speaking here to this audience and to me, because I'm always here. We all are, but
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't know, it's when it comes to sexual assault in the scene, it's just like, it's something that like I deal with so often when it comes to either like victims or like helping people in general, because like and the thing is, like, I love being there for people. And listen, and if you do have a problem, I always say, like, come talk to me. Like, I even had people like last cast who are like, hey, I'm having an issue with this person in the scene, like being like blah blah towards me, like, and they aren't getting banned from my scene. I live in Germany, and I was like, okay, DM me after the stream's over.
Yeah.
Like, listen, DM me. Like, I will help figure shit out. Like, I might not know your TOs, but I'll get to know them. I'll figure shit out for you, right? Like, that's the world we live in, right? Where it's like, you are part of your own, like I'm willing to back you up and be there for you. Like, I don't mind that. But it's like sometimes being there for yourself is even harder. Yeah. And that's kind of what I'm going through, where it's like, and it's like, is it too late to bring it up now? Like, it's in the past. Is it too late? And the thing is that, like, it's so perplexing, right? It's so perplexing because it's like, it's a game that I still want to keep playing, and it's a game that I still want to keep streaming. But like, every time she gets brought up, because what they say 2 attractive women in the scene, so they have to bring up one when the other one's brought up every time. And like, it's fucked. And like, another scenario I had was like, though I had talked to this person after, so I'm not going to mention whose name it was, because there was a female who was streaming, and this was quite a while back. And while she was streaming, someone's like, oh, do you know who Alicia is? And she's like, oh man, Alicia, oh my god, I'd eat her fucking pussy any day. It starts to go off about how much she wants to fuck me to her chat. And then people in her chat were like, oh my god, blah blah, that'd be so fucking hot. And like, people were like being extremely crass about it. I had no concept this was happening while this was happening. And then it got clipped and it got sent to me. And I was like, wow. What the fuck, right? And that's the thing, right? Is that like I joke, I hypersexualize video game characters, right? Video game characters are hypersexualized. Yes. Right? So we all say, like, oh my god, blah blah, like, lay daddy, sit on my face, like, well, like shit like that. Like, we joke about characters because they're video game characters, right? You don't do that about people. Like, what the fuck are you doing, right? And that's the thing, right? Is that person started to become a name that I was constantly being brought up with, where they'd be like, hey, do you know this person? Alicia, do you know this person? I'm like, yeah, like, her and I are friends. Like, like, it's hard because, like, I don't, and then I brought it up with her and I was like, hey, I don't feel comfortable when you talk about me like that, right? And she goes, oh, like, I meant it as a compliment. And I'm like,
it's not a compliment.
It's not a compliment. Like, if a dude did that, would you feel comfortable? And she goes, yeah, totally. And I'm like, oh, like, come on, that's not the point. Right. I don't feel comfortable.
Everybody's different. Just because you're comfortable with that shit doesn't mean that somebody else is gonna be.
Yeah.
It's.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just a lot of weird. I mean, like, okay, so like now talking about what? Okay, what do you do in these scenarios? What do you do in all these situations, right? And I want to spin this into more of a positive thing to talk about, right? Is that when it comes to a lot of the stuff, address the person, right? For me, I'm a level with you. Like, I'm not at the point where I'm ready to talk to this person about it. I'm not at the point where I'm ready to even name drop her. I'm not at the point where I'm willing to talk about this to anyone. You know, I only really talked about it to you guys during FGC Woke one time, and prior to that to only 3 other people, and that was it, right? One of them was my therapist, right? 2 other people were on my team, and that was it. And that's a situation of like how I'm dealing with it. So that's the thing, right? Is like everything's at your own pace. I might never say anything. I might say something right now. Who knows, right? It's all about what I'm willing to do with that. And that's also the same right that each of you have, right? Is that it's also at your own pace and whatever you're ready to do. And that's super important too. And even when it comes to everything, even outside of sexual assault, now we're talking about like in general towards like bigoted shit, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? Be what you want to be the change you want to be spoken if you want to be spoken about stuff, or if you want to be quiet, be respectful, right? That's it. Sometimes being quiet and respectful has its own power, but also on top of that, being aggressive and like telling people, hey, do you know what, that's not okay, is also impressive too. Like it's all about
Very
knowing
powerful too.
Yeah, exactly. Everything has its own power and its own strength. So it's about doing what you feel is right by your own character, by what you do.
I agree. And everybody does it differently, but there's so much power in saying what, you know, hey, there's better ways of doing this. But just, you know, everybody approaches it differently. I definitely do feel like you speaking about this right now, you know, is so helpful. But even if you didn't, in your own time, you're speaking when you're comfortable, but you know how many people you gave confidence to today? With speaking, and you didn't even know, but you know, I see so many people saying things like, you know, thanks to FGC Woke, like it just reminds me of Kanye's workout plan. I know, but thanks to FGC Woke, man, I can speak up about stuff. Thank you, FGC Woke. I said, yo, baby, you know, but it's because you speak, you know, or you know, you be the change, right? That you were talking about, like, and so. The way you're doing it, you're like, I want this change. I'm showing what I want. This is how I'm showing it. And a lot of people really fuck with that. You know, it's a swagger. It's a swagger that nobody can match that. That's a whole kind of swagger, honey. That's it's strength. There's power within it. So thank you, FGC. No, I'm just being funny. Oh my God, is my pants unzipped? No, they're not. But no, yes.
My girl hit us with that. Oh shit, my fly.
I was like, I have to make sure these are quite loose. But yeah, like, yeah. So definitely, I like what you said earlier. Can you state the phrase like "be the change"? I just want to hear it again.
Be the change you want to be in this world.
Be the change you want to be in this world. Remember that. Chat. Be the change you want to be in this world. And yeah.
So chat, speaking of chat, all right guys, that's concluding most of the core section of FGC Woke. We were already kind of interacting with chat a little bit so far going through it because we like to do that because we love y'all. But do you guys have any questions? This is where we're opening up the floor to questions. We'll do a question period for about the next 15-20 minutes or so. So go ahead, ask any questions you want. It could be about topics from today, it could be about different opinions about certain situations in general. We're just here to love you guys and to give the scoop. Also, if you feel like taking out bonus content or supporting FGC Woke, check out our Patreon, which is linked in the chat right now. I just linked it right there. I'm gonna link it one more time, just in case you might have missed it.
We did speak about that guy, right? We did speak about him, that thing not to be mentioned, but yeah, we did talk about that guy, didn't we?
Scrolling up.
The one with I just who?
You're talking about Chris G?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I missed the person who said it. That's why I was like, what?
We did, right? We discussed that, right? Right? Because they're asking, like, did we talk about
we talked about it, like, briefly, just, like, very briefly.
Thank God, 'cause
we didn't go, like, full into it. We have done a full segment on it before. Where we, like, pulled up the screenshot and showed it on stream and everything and talked about everything. But that was actually... Was that FGC Book 2? Was that episode 2 where we did that?
I was saying the 2 or... It was 2! It was 2! I remember!
Dude, episode 2 is our most fire podcast.
Thank
you guys
for
need to go
host,
check out episode 2.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, dude.
2 was good. 2 was good. Oh man, 2 of everything is good.
Yeah, 2 had everything in it, guys. Like, you guys gotta go check out FGC Woke episode 2. That shit's fire.
It was
like,
so good. I was like,
we keep referencing it.
like, but like all of these just keep on getting better and better. The content is just on fire, on fire. But nah, yeah, look, it's not like, okay. My whole thing is it's hard for me sometimes when we speak about him. There's a sense of like disgust that I have for the person for literally contributing to the traumatizing things that women of color faced because of him enabling other black men and men in general and women to shit on black women. Oh, but then there's some exceptions. No, you're not God. Your word is not law.
That's facts.
And
that's facts.
If I don't have to ever agree with you for any of that, even if you think you changed. You don't. I don't have to feel that you have.
Yeah.
There's too many women have stated their concerns.
That's like I've said before too, right? It's like you're justified in feeling how you feel. Like that's life, right? Is that you're justified by the experiences that you have and how you feel about certain situations. Like there's nothing wrong with how you feel, and if you, it's everything.
Even now, I can't. Yeah. It's too hard.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of like hatred I have there. I'm not gonna lie about it. It affected too many people. Too many people.
Facts.
Way too many.
2 of the same questions in chat. Alicia, how are you tonight? Et comment ça va très bien ici? Et toi?
Oh. I like that. My sister speaks some French. That was French, right? That was French.
That was French. We need to stop hating Donatello when Donatello stops being a bitch. Continue. Ninja Turtles. That's what we're talking about.
Oh, I figured as much.
Context. Listen, like
there's a lot of questions.
They all heard my rant about Donatello. I'll do that off stream sometime. But listen, if you come into my chat and you bring up Donatello, I will give you the full Ninja Turtles rundown. Like,
oh, I feel like I missed so many questions. I'm sorry. I just had to make sure I threw that out there real quick for the one time.
I'm just
my bad. No. It's not women's only. No, it's honestly, it's everybody in here is a different gender or whatever they identify as. It's everybody and their mom in here, to be honest. Like,
yeah, we talked about we talked about stuff that's not just even like talking about just like, oh, it's only women topics. Like, no, we talked about everything. We talked about race. We talked about like everything.
Kendra mentioned feet in the questions and lotion. I just want to throw that in there. I saw you, Kendra.
If y'all talk about feet, you better pay that $5. We'll talk about it on the bonus cast. We're not doing that shit for free. If you want feet, you better pay that money.
I've never experimented with feet before, but now I'm quite curious.
We're not going to talk about this here. We will talk about it on the other cast, Cuddle.
Feet are funny. But there was in other words, has the company should be more respectful toward female competitors compared to the past? It's somewhat getting better, but it's still a lot of problems. It's actually still, like, it's better, but it's not. The biggest problem is I still feel like Twitch chat and moderation, and YouTube, and for some reason they kind of let things slide on bullying for some reason, which is a huge problem. So yes, in some ways it's better, in other ways no. It is still very much the same, but women are definitely posting those receipts. When I say receipts, I'm talking like when people are being hella sexist in the YouTube comments, because they really set themselves up. And even when they speak on social media, stuff like that, like they take those receipts and they show like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what we're experiencing. So it does show that these problems exist. So that has also helped with that too. The speaking up part has really been beneficial. But yes, though things have gotten better from before, it is still in many ways very much the same. But we are fighting and it is improving. And I'll leave it at that.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. I mean, yeah, one other thing to mention about like the quarantine effect of the scene is that now that everything's like on standstill, that we can actually address issues, right? Because what happened was a lot of the time too was that when it came to like issuing bans, when it came to issuing a lot of stuff, things would be so fast tracked. It was hard to get bans going. Sometimes it'd be like, God, this event's happening literally in 2 weeks. What the fuck? Like, and then
we don't have no time.
Yeah, TOs are like overwhelmed. They're dealing with a lot of stuff. They got to deal with a lot of stuff leading up to the tournament, especially the week prior. Like it's hard. It's hard for them to balance everything out and figure out what's going on, right? They can't just willy nilly throw out bans. They need to understand what the hell the scenario is, and sometimes they can't make the judgment call before the time comes, right? And that happens. That happens. And now that we're at this point where there's no events right now coming up, now we're able to actually implement stuff because we have time.
What do you mean? Do you think women overly abuse that? No. I think if it's something that really exists in the scene and it's traumatizing, of course you would definitely state that. How is that overly abusing something?
Sorry, could you reread? Could you read what someone said? I don't even see that.
Oh no, I just thought. But do you think women overly abuse that? What, using receipts? When something's sexist, it's sexist. We deal with that with men in this scene and people in general quite often. And when we say what goes on, you say, "Where's the receipts?" It doesn't happen to you. But when we post the receipts, where y'all asses at then? Because the thing is, we post them to show that this stuff exists. Because then this happens in general. If you say something happens to you, yeah, it happens, but you're not gonna, people are like, oh, it doesn't happen. No, you choose not to see it. But if I show you and it's literally physical evidence, what you gonna say? Because you're not gonna say nothing. Because it's literally there. But I don't think women abuse that. Is it possible to abuse things like that? I don't know, maybe, but this is not what's going on. Every time I've seen a woman post something about what she deals with, that kind of stuff can mentally scar you. I'm gonna say that. It's not just comments.
Also, okay, realistically, if we're screenshotting shit, like, dudes screenshot it too, it doesn't matter. Gender doesn't matter. People screenshot stuff. But on top of that, if we're screenshotting, that means it happened. That means like we literally just showing what we're going through.
Oh, it's another comment. What's the comment? What's the comment?
There's a weird ass comment here that someone said. It was so Solid Snake went, I don't mean this in a harsh way, but if God appeared and told the world to obey all women, would the world accept it or civil war come about? Okay, one, no one should ever obey flat out another gender. That doesn't make sense. So that's stupid as hell. And if a god said that, they aren't my god, because I don't think anyone should ever obey just one gender like that. That's
a crazy question.
That's like if a god rolled up and was like, "Yo, dude, obey all women," I'd be like, "Fuck you, I'm a dude now." Like, that doesn't make sense. We gotta fight the power. That's just whack. That's not okay. Like, something's up with this. This needs to be fixed. Okay. But yeah, so definitely not on that hype train for that one.
Do y'all know of any ways to get in on being a mod for chat room so we can ban these comments? What a great question. You know, I'd say, but they haven't really started enforcing like modding for like chats yet, have they?
So one thing I was actually talking to recently was I was talking to one of the TOs for an event recently where I was like, hey, would you consider putting out an application form for moderators for chat? And they're like, well, sometimes what we do is we hire streamers to run like certain games on their streams, so it's their moderators, right? So it's like now we're kind of figuring out the steps in between where it's like, cool, so do I reach out to, like, for example, Bifu Techie, and I'm like, yo, would you mind throwing on a few extra mods? Like, do you want to do mod applications? Like, Bifu's an awesome guy. Bifu, like, some people talk to him, he's a little blunt sometimes, so sometimes, you know, people don't understand that he's blunt, but he's a wonderful person. Sometimes he's just in a high stress scenario when he's at events, okay? So sometimes, you know, just people are stressed. So think about him though, right? Is that if like someone like him added some extra mods, that'd be dope. Like if someone like Tekken itself, the actual Tekken channel, definitely should have more mods. Definitely should have mod applications out.
Oh,
stuff
my
like
God,
that.
Yeah.
And the thing is that people would do this shit voluntarily. Like people would do this voluntarily. That's the thing, is that, and the thing is that I think people are so worried about like paying people and like stuff like that. But when it comes to moderation, like we're just trying to keep the community safe, right? Volunteer work isn't bad. I'm talking. Okay, this is a weird sort of thing to go into. Side note is like, I believe if you work at an event, you should be paid. That's one thing, right? If you're at the event, you paid the money to get there. You paid for the hotel room. You're burning all this cash. Get paid for your time there. That's crazy, right? But if you're at home and you're sitting in your pajama bottoms and you're modding the chat, you're helping out, and you're gonna watch the tournament anyways. That's just dope of you. That's some good ass volunteer time. That's you caring about the scene. That's different. And that is also really appreciated. But you know, like a money compensation shouldn't be your primary focus.
And people gotta eat.
Keep the community safe. Yeah. So that's I have 2 cents about that.
Yeah, like
here.
you're going like, but I think it's important to put in the money if you're trying to make this scene better, make this scene safe. Put in the money. The same way you put in the money for your production, put it in to the actual modding, so that there's actually a safe community where people respect each other. Oh, but you gonna put all that money into other things, but you ain't gonna put it into like conduct, proper just conduct. Cover everything. In my opinion, you had money to spend on that. Maybe you can allot some money for some better moderation too. I don't think it's so hard to ask for. I really don't.
I agree. There's one question here that's a little bit lengthy, but I'm going to read through it.
Talk to me.
They give a scenario, so put on this monitor when I read it. Alicia and Cuddle, would you say I had the right to lash out at someone for saying I wanted to be with someone? Oh, so the person that you lashed out at said this. Okay, cool. I wanted to be with someone just so I can get in their pants. And it was in a group chat, and the other friends didn't even tell him to stop. And they both saw me typing in all caps. So would you say that my anger was right and him telling me to chill and it was just a joke was wrong? I think that right and wrong is very subjective when it comes to stuff like this, but in general, this is what I talk about a lot is understanding what's right and wrong to yourself, right? Because personally, yeah, dude, if my friend was like, yo, I would just do this just to get in their pants, I'm like, dude, shut the fuck up, stop acting like you're 12, you're probably not gonna get the pussy anyways, shut the fuck up, right? Listen, if you're talking like that, no one's gonna give you the goodies, shut the fuck up, right? Like, I put them straight like that. Like, let's be real, right? If you saying shit like that, you got that mad verge energy, you are not getting poo-tang, okay? So, these are facts, right? You can't talk to women if you talk like that, that's facts. So it's like, that's the thing, right? This bitch. So that's the thing, right? Is that like, yeah, like you're right to be pissed off with them if that's how you feel about it. Like that's you're justified to however you feel in life, right? But at the same time, if it's like boys being shitty or even women being shitty and saying stuff like that, sometimes people say shitty stuff. That's up to you if you want to be offended by it or not. If you want to correct their friend's behavior, that's good on you. If you don't want to correct it, it's up to you as well, right? It's literally your life and literally your decisions waking up to it. There's no right or wrong. But if you feel it was in the right of you to do it, then it was in the right. And if you regret doing it, that's something you need to evaluate in your life too, where it's like, okay, how much weight does my friend's opinions hold versus my own? That's the next question. Right?
That's a really good point. Yeah, like if you feel like, you know, how they came across, like, you know, they kept on saying that, and of course I can see how that being very frustrating because you're like, obviously, you know, you're not trying to get in someone's pants, you know, like that's because it's also talking about your character, and so that's very agitating, and it's like knock it off. Like the way you're saying it, they say it as a joke, but that's not a joke to you because it's talking about your character. So I could also see that, you know, you and your friend will have to have a good ass talk about that, because certain things I think, depending on what's going on, you don't joke about, especially if there's somebody else involved. Say, you know, it's about a girl in your friend group, and then your guy friends are joking like, oh, you know, hey, he wants to get in your pants, and she's like, what? Like, hold on, no, I don't like this is. Like, no, like, you know, it makes things uncomfortable. They're talking about your character, one. Yep. And two, certain things, like I said, if you all haven't established the tone of you all's relationship, you know, as friends, it's important to establish that too and understand what it is, because things can really be taken the wrong way very easily.
Like, listen, right? There's a difference between being like with your friend and being like, yo, I'm finna clap them cheeks, baby. Like that's you joking between friends. Yeah. That's understanding the context of the scenario. That's you establishing that kind of relationship already. Like those jokes are jokes, yeah. Right? That's the thing. That's the context though, right? If homeboy's literally like, oh, yo, I'm hitting up this girl just so we can get in her goddamn panties. Who's to say she's not doing the exact same too though? Right? That's also a thing to consider, right? I'm not gonna lie to you. Sometimes we be swiping and we be like, okay, cool. I'm just out to fuck. I'm not here for a relationship. I'm not here to hold hands. And you know what? Different genders feel the same way too, right? And it's just understanding the scenario of it too. It's just understanding, like, going into it. At the end of the day, as I said, right? It's all about your own level of what right and wrong is. And if you feel that it was right to do that, then hell yeah. And if you're second guessing yourself, then I would also evaluate how much value does your friend's opinions have over your own, right? Mm-hmm. Over your own code. And that's important. So
it's a really good point.
Wait, we missed a lot of text, so we're just trying to scroll through. How about you pick one next? I'll pick one. We'll keep going back and forth. So you pick one next.
Sounds good. Trying to find that.
spitting facts tonight. Best believe. Also, Verge Energy. Lamau, dude. I freaking love saying Verge Energy. It's so funny.
Oh. This may have been answered at some point, but why would looks matter for a tournament player? Would skill not matter more? Oh, I mean, no, I completely agree. Skill is the only thing that should matter. But
it's the only thing that should matter, yeah, 100%.
But when, you know, this can be said for anything entertainment-wise. People point out what they see because they're spectating from home. So they feel like they can spew whatever shit they want to fucking say. Doesn't mean they're right. Because, you know, and then, yeah, they have their own opinions, but... no, skill always matters more. Always. You know, and they're not there to be your eye candy baby. Like, nah, that's not what that is. Like, so that's always something that even myself I have to, you know. Before I definitely had to always remind myself, like, you know, what I do, my skill, that's what I show here. I don't want to fuck none of these nah, I don't want to fuck none of them. Dog, I ain't trying to fuck none of y'all. I'm here to do me.
She's always trying to get y'all fucked in the game. That's it. That's all it's all about.
It. Like, my, you know, what I do outside of, you know, romantically is no one's business either. So, like, also being able to separate those two is very important. Because it's like, I think, you know, wherever you have your relationship is cool. Like, it's like, you can have it in the community or not. But, like, you know, you're your own individual. I just want to bring this up. You're your own individual without your partner too. So, you know, you stand on your
That's
own.
Facts.
And
tell them.
I just want people to know that, like, you know, validation doesn't come from who you're with. It's how you are on your own. But you all make each other stronger. That's the whole thing. So, you know.
Listen, okay, I need to like low key go a little bit off about this. Yeah. Is that back when I was dating someone in the scene and he was more known than I am? Everyone knew me as just his girl and not my own person the entire time, to the point where people thought I was new to the scene. Literally within the past 2 years. And I'm like, no, I've fucking been here. It's just that no one knew who I was because I was just his girl the entire time. And it was like, and it sucked. It fucking sucked. I'm not that new.
Right, like, yo, dog, I've been here for 2 fucking years.
No, it's just the past 2 years they finally acknowledged that I'm a human being. Prior to that, though, it was like everyone was like, nah, like, you're just his girl. And even before that, it's like, oh, no, you're just like it just never was my own
That's
human
annoying.
being.
That's
just,
annoying.
oh my god. Please. Like, now on the bright side, like, listen, your girl's a little bit more known than her man, so it's okay now.
You got your own thing. You are your own individual.
That's facts. Yeah. That's facts.
And then that's really important, like, you are who you are without your significant other, and vice versa. So, like, I hate that. Yeah, that was always my thing too, where I was like, nah, I'm a badass on my own. Like, my boyfriend, well, at the time, I'm like that's cool. Like, you know, yeah, we help each other out, but I'm not their girlfriend, and I'm always so happy never to be that, because I was like,
yeah, you never were, yeah.
No, I'm like, I have been killing my shit on my own, and now it's even nicer because, you know, that will never change. You establish your own future, your own fate, and it should never be validated because you're somebody's other. I think there's more to people than that, but that's not bad to, you know, yeah, I love you, I'm yours. Like, that's cute, but just remember, you are your own person. Okay, and then.
I'm flipping through for the next question. 1 second. Some of these are some of these questions are just calling out other people's questions. It's kind of funny. It's like y'all on that good rock, baby? What's going on?
Ooh.
Do you think that women will overly abuse that? Oh, you're talking about what a weird ass fucking question. I won't lie to you, dude.
Wait. What was that about? Because we were Solid Snake was supposed to find the question for me.
You know how I answered that question about like, oh, if God came and told women they could like rule the world and shit, and they had all like to do what they said, and and he's like, yeah, do you think a woman would abuse it? I'm like, no, I think people would be like, fuck you, God. I'm pretty sure that's the mentality.
I'm gonna be 100 here. Anybody in that position, there would be people in general who would abuse it. It's not everybody. It's not just women. What's just specifically women? It would be. There's people. I mean, for example, look at the motherfucking president. I mean, do we really have to, like, put in power, right? Look at all, like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I'm gonna say whatever I want. Disinfect it and put it in your body. Like, come on. And he's a dude. So I'm gonna be 100 about this. Look who's taking advantage of what.
Dude, he's dumb as a bag of bricks. Y'all wildin' over there.
Like, I'm just, it's a very interesting time. I hope somebody puts some sense into him because people are dying, and we can't do that and have somebody not doing the research on this virus because it doesn't seem. Anyway, the point being, it has nothing to do with gender at that point. It would be like for those who are power hungry and for those who would use and how they would use it. Like there's those who are, want to use it for good and those who want to use it for bad. That's it. I don't think it's a gender thing, but that's just me.
The difference between one thing I wanted to address is the difference between modding for a player, like for someone in general, versus modding for, like a majors with like multiples of thousands of people tuning in, is different, right? So when you're like, even if you're like if, for example, let's say that you're a moderator for like I don't know, let's say like Critical, who like plays Smash and has like 3,000 viewers sometimes, right? Yeah, someone like him should pay his mods. Right? He probably does. Because realistically, he can. If you're someone who has 500 viewers, 600 viewers, I mean...
Yeah!
You probably should. I mean, you're making enough money at that point, so, I mean, why not? Like, maybe... or at least throw him a bone or two. Be like, yo, here's a tier 3 sub to my Patreon.
Something!
Like, give him something. Like, it's fine. I mean, if you're rocking out, like, 100 viewers or, like, 200 viewers, that's different. Like, don't pay your mods. Like, that's they're here to help you grow your community. Your community's still growing. If you have 100 to 200 viewers, like not to discredit it, I'm just saying it's a smaller community compared to the large ones on the platform that make a lot more money. Like these people out here grinding too. Like you're just supporting a community. That's different, right? We're talking about on the grand scale. Like listen, if you're saying like XQC pays his mods, that's another example. He got like 10,000 motherfuckers in his chat all the time. Like you got like, and he's scummy and he still pays his mods. Like that's the thing, right? It's like pay your mods. I mean, if it's, depending. Like, it's all situational. I'm not saying, like, listen, your girl out here playing, like, Spell Break with, like, 20 viewers. I'm not gonna pay no mods. Like, I love y'all, but I pay you in my good content. Okay?
And that's how you get paid.
You get paid in loving me. Okay?
Yes, baby.
Like, that's the thing, though, right? It's like you can't compare the same shit to each other, right? It's all relative depending, right? If I was like running and that's the thing too. Even when I run like AXL online, right? I have amazing moderators and amazing bracket runners, and yeah, I don't pay them because it's a part of building a community together. There's only like 30 motherfuckers up in here, but that's the thing is that it's all equal, right? Those people, it's not just like, oh, it's an Alicia show featuring like others helping. It's like, no, they are a part of this community, building and creating this community. I literally couldn't do it without them. We're all one happy family building it together. That's a beautiful part about AXL Online, is that we have people like Aroma, a ton of clubs, like Cypress, like there's like a million people, Rel, like just everybody. Like there's so many amazing people that help out, and it's just so amazing to have them in my life. And it's just like, like that's a thing, right? Is understanding the difference between all that. So, speaking of which, if you want to contribute towards our Patreon, feel free to hit that. For $5 or more, you get a bonus episode that's exclusive to Patreon, that you don't get here on Twitch. So if you want to have exclusive bonus content where you can actually pick the topics we talk about, including feet, make sure to check that out, and make sure to pledge a little food dollar dues. Know what I'm saying, dog? Know what I'm saying? Dollary dues.
We talk about a lot. We go off topic on everything. Like we change the topic completely. Right. We go in, but it's a very like fun 2 hours of just talking about whatever.
We talked about like about Netflix shows. We talked about vibrators at one point. We talked about
baby. We talked
about comfy dick. Yeah, we talked about comfy dick for quite a while. That was a
while. No, I was gonna say I think we're getting one of the.
Oh
yeah, I was like.
this content you miss when you don't go to the Patreon. I'm just saying, that's the content you miss. You don't get to know about what's happening behind the...
I mean, oops. I was just saying, thank you for pitching that.
Yep.
FGC Woke does have a Discord where we do discuss discrimination, etc. in the FGC, which I'd say, yeah, it's the Discord. Yeah, we do have one. It's the Discord. I be posting stuff in there 24/7, baby. I'm on 4 a.m. Get your post. Yes, we do have a Discord.
Always.
Do you have the link, sweetheart?
For the FGC Woke Discord, that's the one for Patreon.
Yeah, so if you sub to us, you also get the bonus content that Patreons only get. But
and
also,
you can also be in the Discord.
yes. So yeah. So yeah. And it's a very it's super chill. Like we have really good discussions. But yes, to be a part of the Discord, you you have to be a Patreon. But yeah, it's not just, you don't just get access to that, but the content is really good. The content's really, really good. The access to it, like, we talk about everything, and you get a say in it. You get a say in what we discuss. So.
It's also just nice to, like, talk stuff out. If you have questions, we're very open-minded. Like, if you have questions that might be a hot take because you just don't understand, you want to be more educated, we're cool with answering those too. Like, we're just there to build a community together for a better tomorrow. So, like, become a part of it. Let's all be happy together. I don't know if I missed any other major questions. Most of them were just being like, what? Moderation? People pay mods? Yeah, for very large view counts, like a few thousand viewers at a time type of view counts. Under that, it's like, yeah.
Wait, what was the hot...
relative.
What was the hot take?
What?
I wonder what the hot take was. Oh, and no problem, Weez and Flag, thank you so much for the support. What was the hot take? Was it about Master Raven being sexualized? Because I think that was the one. No, it wasn't. I was like, you asked me.
Wait.
What did I think about that? Dwayne.
Okay, well, I mean, in general, every character in Tekken's sexualized. So, I mean, like, yeah, I hypersexualize Master Raven all the time.
Oh, no. It's about the N-word, my bad. I was asking what it was. I wasn't sure.
I was like, listen, if you think I play Eddie purely for his moveset, you're dead wrong. Look at him. He's a beautiful, beautiful man.
I mean, he's quite chiseled. Quite chiseled, yes.
Listen, sexualizing video game characters because they're already hypersexualized is one thing. Joking about that shit's funny. Like, but sexualizing people is a different thing. That's a difference, right? It's knowing the difference between that and, like, the line that's drawn. So, yeah.
Well, I think he was saying, like, if she's over-sexualized, and I said, oh, because, like, the way something about, like, her, what I used as a comparison was her clothing. I'm like, look at these ninjas. And I'm like, look at these from DOA. That is overly sexualized. I said, Raven's like a saint. I was like, well, that's what we're talking about. And we were having a good discussion about
her coochie lips just be like flopping out. Like, look.
I literally, like, because the costume has a whole thong on. And I'm like, but she's a ninja, which, whatever. But, like, it's the fact that, like, that is sexualized to the T. Like Bryce Raven? Nah, not really. Not to me.
Oh, no, yeah, this is actually our question period right now, dude. So if you want to ask a question in chat, go for it. No, you don't need to be a patron to ask a question here. The difference is that for Patreon, if you want to ask, like, general stuff and topics for us to talk about, that's where you get the influence to talk about, like, choose what we talk about. But our question period's open to anyone. You guys can ask questions. That's fine.
Yes. I'll write the N-word. Wait, can we stop? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I forgot. Some of you aren't black. So yeah, say the N-word. I mean, don't say the N-word. I mean, it isn't like, just say the term, the N-word. That's great. Thank you, because, I mean, even for those of you, for those of you that are black and don't want to say it, I understand. It's all good. But for me, I'm going to be like, what's good, my nigga? And that's
your right.
Yes.
That's your right.
Everybody,
that's your right flat out to do it.
Yeah, but, like, for me, I'm like, I personally don't feel like, if you're non-black, then you shouldn't say it. It's not your word. But I've seen a lot of conflict there, but don't blame black culture for the reason why, you feel like people say it. That's not how that works. So a lot of other people don't say it, but that's just an opinion.
So yesterday, what do you think about black characters having blue eyes and white hair? Is that okay, or do we need more? Okay, so for my thing when it comes to this, right, is I have blue hair and I'm colored. So, but before, fuck. All right.
Elena's black with the blue eyes and the white hair. I don't get that. Like, why
In general, it's kind of heartbreaking a lot of the time too when like you see colored women always wearing like green contacts or blue contacts because they feel like it's more beautiful to be that way.
Mhm.
Like we do need colored representation that can be natural. You want to be sick to have a black woman with her natural hair.
that would make me
Just
happy.
her natural hair. That would be so sick. Like that'd be so dope. And that's the thing, right? It's like we're not asking for that much. Listen, you can have alternate costumes where she wears other stuff, where she has other accessories for her hair if you want to. But damn, that shit would be mad nice.
To actually show black people with, traits that you normally see with black people, like the eye color not changing, and maybe their hair texture is curly. It's not just it's literally stark white, like the color of the wing in the overlay. Like no, like they think it's not interesting enough, kind of thing. No, like black characters can be interesting. They're interesting alone with like the different like the types of hair that they have, the different style that we have, like black people, and what type of like clothing we have, like the patterns. There's so many. The culture we've created in general, they're intriguing alone with that. Their identity is interesting on its own. It should not have to be changed.
So the character we're talking about in general, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but there's a new character released for Grand Blue Versus, and she is black, but she like has like white hair and stuff. That's also another thing, okay? Like, okay, as somebody who used to have silver and white hair at one point, I'm gonna go in on this though, is that every time there's a colored character added into most games, especially Tekken, I won't lie to you, like, remember, like, Raven is a good example. Not Master Raven.
Wesley Snipes!
Like, they had to always make these motherfuckers have white hair, right? It's like the only way to make them cool was to give them, like, white hair.
Or blonde,
because
his hair was blonde.
Or blonde, right? And it's like, come on.
He had blonde
like,
hair. Like Blade, the vampire hunter. Continue,
yeah,
sorry.
and that's wild, right? Like that's the thing, right? It's like why can't people just have natural hair? Why can't they just have like their black hair? Why can't they just have that? And like the thing is like, yeah, I personally love to dye my hair and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I get that, but like it's what I'm saying is that it's also like people should have natural like that's the thing, right? It's like it's so hard to say, right? Is that if it's based on age and they're old and they have white hair, like yeah, I get it. Like that makes sense.
Can we talk about Leroy a little bit, because the chain on his neck kind of, and the gang violence thing, and the.
Okay, I'm so glad that we get to finally talk about this because I know
like
that we always.
Character. I like the character.
I like his drip and I like his personality, but of course they would make it so that he came from gang violence.
From the streets.
From the streets.
And I'm like, the dog has a chain too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like,
Leroy also, I feel, it reminded me of like old blaxploitation like films back in the 70s, which I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool, but I'm like, Leroy is kind of like, it feels a little, I would love to know the thought process behind what they thought about why they chose to do, because I don't want to automatically say, well, it's kind of stereotypical, but it feels that way a little bit, just a smidge. Still, like, it's not like he's like, it's not like the way Leroy acts is like, how they paint black people sometimes, not like the media and stuff like that, like, like, he has a gun and, he's cocking it like, shut the fuck up, or like tries to, no, nothing like that. Yeah. He's like very calm, like, you ain't got nothing to show, and and he's like really like cool and edgy.
He's got that dope ass old black energy, and the old black man, and I live for that shit.
The appearance of the character really throws me off. Like that chain is really bothering me. Like black people always gotta have ice on their necks, kind of thing. In a game where this is acceptable. Def Jam, Fight for NY, and Def Jam in general, because the rappers actually do have ice on their necks. They're actually real. They're real. They're real people.
That game go hard though. That game.
Yeah, I was trying to get competitive in it, but I heard that Kimura Lee wasn't that good, and I was upset because that was my main. But Lil Kim be bussin'. But the whole thing is like, I would like representation of a character without them having to tweak certain things or make it too typical, like the way that black people are portrayed. It would be great to see a character that maybe looked like Alicia or me, and that's like, they can be very interesting. I mean, you literally made Steve, which is a white guy with, from the UK with blonde hair, and he boxes. I mean, that's pretty standard. That's a thing, and he's He's not a criminal. He didn't come from the streets, whatever. Like, why can't black people have the same sort of consideration? That's all I'm asking. just a little bit, just fuck, dog. Like, ooh, my bad. I don't think I'm being picky. I mean, I'm thinking about the portrayal of other black people in other games and how it's evolved over the years, and how there's still problems with it. Yeah. You always portray a certain type of black person, and if that's all people see, it's not really giving us that kind of like representation that black people are asking for, which is not just in this, but in fighting games in general. This has happened, and just in other games in general. Like, this has happened across the board, where there's this problem, especially when it comes to non-American developers. It's gotten better for American ones, but it hasn't been without people pushing. Like, yeah, no, when it comes to black people, there is always this story there about it's always going to be tied to gangs. They always have to have dreads, which there's nothing wrong with dreads, but that's always the same look they give us. Like, we don't have any other looks. I'm just saying, like, that's, I know what I see. I am black, and I see it. And I know what I'm recognizing. When they give those names like Tyrone, Leroy.
Yeah.
Yo! Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the only kind of black person that exists. Which is not. Yo, what's good, my homie? Following the black hand side, my nigga. Like, I just, ooh. And there's nothing wrong with that, but, like, Jesus, there's so many different types of black.
We all got different flavors, baby. We all got different flavors.
Like,
that's why it's like, you know.
Like Jackie Briggs. I mean, I really like how she looks.
Oh, I love how she looks.
But she
I love how she looks.
Solid as a character. The look. That's what I'm asking for. That is what I want.
Yes, I agree. I completely agree with that. They killed that shit. I was
like, wow. Like, yeah, as I was sitting there watching Final Combat, I said, God, this fucking character is cheap. She reminds me of Steve in season 2. But I'm like, damn, does she look accurate? And it made me feel good. But yet again, American developers shouldn't be surprised. I really shouldn't. And I'm glad. I want that to be in the game that I play too.
Facts.
So. But it's that's the thing though. Yes, it's an African American name, but it's also has a stereotypical feel to it. The fact that it's used as that doesn't mean it has to be, but Leroy, they really could have given him anything, but they chose Leroy. I would like to know the reason. I miss Bruce.
How old is that Lamella of the Soul series?
Yeah, he's cool. I think he was cool, but not. I don't know. I felt like there was something missing there. Cool character though. I really like. Yeah. But what? Can I ask you something?
What's up?
Why he gotta have ice on his neck? Why you gotta have ice like that? Because you can't tell me that thing ain't kind of.
They say give my man that timepiece. Literally, that shit fucked, right? Like, but yeah, it's more so because like in his thing, it's like he stops time and shit. So like he has like a timepiece on him. But like in general, I don't know, man.
And then the bling on his ear, like all the bling and they always do that with the black characters.
I just wish that if they're gonna do it, pick the right place, right? Like that's the thing, right? Is that if you're gonna okay, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna go in on this. Fuck it. I was gonna try to like let it go passively and move on to the next question. Fuck that shit. Flavor Flav, right? They try to put Flavor Flav in this motherfucker, and they try to be like, oh, but he's African. Okay, fuck you. He's not, because if he did it properly, they would have actually done the work on his face properly, right? Because what happens is that scarring is actually a really cool concept that happens in body mod art. Body mod art, scarring is very important, okay? Because body mods in Africa are lit. I don't know if you've ever seen them. I totally considered getting one growing up because I was like, yo, one day I'm gonna get one. Never got one.
I didn't know he was African. I didn't know. I didn't know that.
That's the thing, right? Is that they're trying to pick one. That's the reason why he has a jewelry piece in his ear. They're trying to pick something. They can't pick nothing. This motherfucker looks like he's from 5 different places. He looks like he's from the U.S., then he hit up Europe, then he hit up Africa, and then he's like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm in Asia. Like, he has no, like, there's nothing there that's like, they're just like, these are what black people do, right? Like, no, fuck. Ask some, like, talk to a black person. I don't know.
Have a diversity consultant. I don't know why this is so hard. I don't know why this is so hard.
Shit's whack. Because that's what I meant, like, right? It's like, and if you're gonna give him the earpiece, give him the right one. Give him the right one. Give him the right region's ear, like, right? Like, I'm just. If we're gonna make black people and put them in certain places, then you really should do more research. Also, yes, Balrog is questionable. Yes. Also, I just assumed he was African for the fact that he has body mod. So it's like you have body mods and you're not.
Balrog looks really. Also, yes.
Man, I'm still tripping over that shit. I need to go look it up later. I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed because I'm like, damn, this motherfucker from 5 different places because they just had no concept. They had no concept of what black people look like. That shit fucked.
So is he actually from Africa?
I mean, if he has body mods and he's not from Africa, I'm gonna be pissed.
And the name's Zasalamel. I'm very curious, like, what is his actual origin?
Cause listen, if he's like, oh, he's Egyptian and he's from Africa, that makes sense because Egypt is in Africa. I can fuck with that heavy. Yeah. That would make sense, right? Because then he has body mods, and then if he has jewelry, that makes sense too. Still not the right kind of jewelry for the right location, so still fucked. Don't put a timepiece on my man's. Fuck off. Give him the right kind of ear jewelry. Don't do that to him, right? Like it's not hard. Pick a place. Like
do a little more research. If they can do the research for some of their other characters, they can do it for a black character. No, for sure. I still wish they did more with Sheva. I know it's really random, but I really like Sheva, and I'm sad that they didn't do more with her. But that was a really cool.
I'm trying to look up where he's from right now. now I want to know.
Yeah, Balrog's lips were very questionable. Dudley's cool.
He has multiple places that he is born from because he can reincarnate.
Oh my god! Also, by the way, are Dudley's eyes blue? Hopefully they aren't. I really hope they're not. Because I like the artwork a lot for Third Strike, so I've studied it a lot, but don't tell me it's don't tell me they're blue. Please, can somebody look this up real quick? Because I'm going to be really upset if Dudley's eyes are blue. Not that it's not possible, but... Oh, shit. I'll be really mad. Why? Oh, I'm gonna be so upset if he actually is. Like, I'm gonna be so mad. Cause, like, yeah, like... Oh, what? Okay. They're blue? Okay, I'm so fucking done. Well, alright. Well, the whole thing for me is brown eyes are fine. Doesn't make you more exotic if you give them blue eyes. I think it just looks like you weren't feeling them. Maybe use a contrast thing. Contrast, sure. But brown eyes are pretty.
Yeah.
Black people and blue eyes, that's a thing I'm seeing a lot in these games. At least Tekken doesn't do that. Thank you, Tekken.
I mean, like, listen, if like people want to wear contacts and shit, that's cool too. But what we're talking about is like the actual game model itself, right? Because like, listen, I'm cool with like, listen, if people want to wear colored contacts, fuck yeah, do it. Live your best life, baby. I got dyed hair. Listen, I don't give a fuck. Live your best life. We're talking more so about like as a base level of a character, like you're choosing to like give them naturally that eye color is kind of just weird.
Yeah, know? It's that. It's not like there's anything wrong with wearing colored contacts. No, it's when non-black people, like the developers, aren't really like looking at like, it doesn't seem like they are. They're not really looking at like models of other black people, or they are to an extent, and then they're like, for whatever reason, they'll start tweaking things that change the full blackness of a character. And I'm just, make them, you can make them the full black without changing parts of them because you want them to seem more appealing. Because that's something maybe in your culture that you do, doesn't, or like, that you all like, doesn't mean that, you take that away from another ethnicity. I'm not I just have my opinions on that.
popping out the food while we talk because we're at that part
Bet.
where Alicia's just like, "Yep, okay, continue on what we're talking about."
She's Kenyan
okay,
with
cool.
blue eyes. She's Kenyan with blue eyes. How does that work? Yeah. Yeah, it's like giving white characters
Well,
afros.
probably
They don't
does
want
it.
them to be fully white. But white characters don't seem to have those problems, so it's not the same. It's actually not the. I mean, they never given a white character an afro. I kind of see what you're saying, but they never given a white character an afro. So, and Zach is a whole joke. That character is a joke. I don't know why they made him
The
look
only
like that.
white character I've ever seen in a game that has an afro, is, the goddess of love in Catherine.
Huh.
But, that's because she's supposed to have technically no race, so she has like everything in one, because she's a god. That's her concept. So they give her like multiple traits of different shit.
Huh.
So that was their goal with it, which is kind of interesting. So,
I like that. That I can F with. That makes
that
more sense
I
to
fuck
me.
with. There's a reason for it. There's an intent, you know, rather than
Aside
just
from,
being
like-
the way it is.
What's up? What's the question? Why can black characters only have okay, that silly boy, give me your question and then I'm gonna read probables. Why can black characters only have afros, dreads, or be bald? And they can't have a nice level 2 fade in a video game? No, they can definitely have a nice level 2 fade. It's just like I said earlier, I think some developers
Make our boys look crisp. Fuck.
I think some of our the developers, especially in other countries, don't understand how that works because maybe there's not a lot of black people there. So that's something that
Make our
happens.
boys look crisp like they do in Animal Crossing, dude. Animal Crossing gave boys fades. They
I
gave
like that a
motherfuckers
lot.
fades in that game. That's sick. Man. They literally had my man's haircut in that game. I couldn't believe it. His exact haircut. I'm not kidding. Loose form dreads and all, dude. I was like, what the fuck?
Hey Z, what's up? Oh, wait, did they ask a question already? Tom got a fade? All I'm asking is, like, if you're gonna put black people in your game, it's okay to make them actually, like, fully black. Like, you know, without having to change things about them. Like the way we look. There's nothing wrong with that. And if you care that much about, you know, getting things accurate, do your research. I'm telling you that at one point, diversity consultant on a team would make the world go round. I don't know if they already got that. They got an ethics one, don't they? On some?
They do.
Oh, I'm sure they do, but they don't. Okay.
Yeah. They don't got diversity? I mean, ethics and diversity should be going hand in hand, so the person should be doing both anyways, but, you know.
What's with character creation in games make black skin gray? Oh, like there's like like there's something that's familiar, that sounds familiar, like an undertone problem. Like they don't know how to like actually make like brown skin like have the right undertones, so then the skin actually looks gray instead because they don't know how to bring out the right pigments to.
So what happens is when you're making pigments in skin, this is just for like dealing with film. Like, I do come from a film background, and this happens on camera too. So what happens is that when you have people of color in the makeup room, you actually put redder makeup onto them because like camera picks it up differently. So it's like what happens is that they are supposed to, when making these character models, actually add a bit more red undertone into their skin color to do it properly.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that some people are inexperienced, which they shouldn't be if they're part of a company like that, and to have multiple people in that room not understand that concept. I don't know how poorly educated anyone has to be to understand how to do that properly, but it's like, holy shit, what the fuck, right? Like, literally, like, film, they have to do it before they go on screen. You're in a post-game thing. You're creating the model. You should be able to make the right skin palette. That doesn't make sense.
Yikes. Yeah, you should.
So.
I completely agree. Thank you, Alicia, for expanding on that because you work in film, so that's very helpful. Yes. So even like I saw with like film direction, there's a movie that I really like. It's real. I'm gonna recommend it. It's called If Beale Street Could Talk. Film direction in that is beautiful. Black people, and it, I think the director's white though, but yes, the person understood what it meant to capture that beautiful like those beautiful browns, that earth tone. Like, there's a way that you do it, how the light bounces off, how like the types of like probably filters or like colors you have to capture. You know, all that light, all that. It's different for our skin. It's different. So what you use is different. And they were talking a little bit about that, but this is great film there. That's beautiful. Great story. I would recommend it. I think it was it was based off of a book. The book I think was by Don't quote me. It might be James Baldwin, but I could be wrong. But yes, recommend that.
Give me your top 5-ish wish list people you would want to interview for the show. Celeb, FGC, Ninja Turtle, whatever. Cool. Who would you pick, Cuddle? Let's go back and forth. You pick one, I pick one. We'll go back and forth.
Okay. Give you a top 5.
It's life easier.
Wish list people you would want to interview for the show. That's hard. Let me think.
I hit the
Go
top of my
first.
lip and I missed. Okay, cool. I would say I would love to talk to someone who leads in character design, or those who actually are the ones that like help create the pivotal decision to add a colored person to a game, and like understand their thought process in creating that character and what drove them to believe that should be like that drove them and their peers to believe there should be another colored person added into the game. That'd be cool to get someone who's like in that room who makes those decisions. Be cool to interview.
I like that. I would say any key org. I think what they push is a really good message. Their mission is great. Like the pledge that they have for a safe environment, and they have like what you're pledging, which I just pledged to. And I'm also affiliated with them. I'm like we're partnered with them, I believe, Equinoxes. But the whole thing is like how they go about getting these things put in place, because they have the same mission that we do, many things, and how they go about it. And they have like researchers and things like that. Any key, the people from Any Key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would say.
Ooh.
Where to go from here? Time's a lot. Let's make it 3 each. Okay?
All right, let's do it.
All right. Fuck. I would love to have like a black actress come in. Like that'd be sick. If we had like a really famous like powerhouse black actress come in and just talk about like how they rose up in the scene, how they felt about their own self-image, shit like that. That'd be really sick.
Like just in general, like acting in like any like a really like Lupita Nyong'o. I mean, like you mean like her?
Yeah, I mean like for like, oh shit, who is it? I was thinking of someone in particular.
Because I'm curious, like Angela Bassett. I was thinking her too. Regina, not Regina. Yes, Regina.
Oh, I was thinking Viola Davis. That's
I
what
love
thinking
her.
Of.
Oh my god.
I was gonna say
Regina
someone like Viola
Davis.
Davis, right? Who made it? Like who's so like pinnacle in like the acting scene, right? Who's just so mad talented, and like how they've dealt with their own self-image and what they've done, and like to be where they are today, and like what it's been like for them. Stuff like that would be so sick. So sick to interview.
We'd have to have like 5 different weeks of that, because girl, I could go. Ooh, we could get every. Oh my god. Anyway, yes.
That's a dream.
Yes.
Yep.
Also, I know that sounds really random, and we're still on actors. Denzel, I just think he is such a great role model and figure. I really respect him as an actor, and just his demeanor and how he just carries himself. That's the kind of swag, the swag muffin that I want. That's the kind of swag muffin I want.
I had a white teacher in high school who used to hypersexualize him. It's fucked. Yep. She was like, oh man, I would let him break me and blah blah blah. And I was like, this white bitch trying to teach my African Canadian studies class.
How is that possible? Okay,
she was pro-colonialism. I'm not kidding. That's actually a real fact. She's pro-colonialism. Yeah.
How did she get the job?
I didn't even know that pro-colonialism was a thing. I didn't know people could be for it.
Yeah.
Did you know that? I didn't know there was a concept.
So you said it right now, and I'm like, holy crap, that exists.
And then her justification, like what happened was this is such a weird off-topic, but So basically, she told us to write these essays, right? She was like, "Yo, like write these essays, about being pro colonialism, right? You can be pro or against, or like against colonialism, um, and in this, like these are the reasons why you should be against it. This is why you shouldn't be against it. Like you could pick your own side." I was like, and I started laughing because I thought it was like a joke, right? I genuinely thought it was a joke, right? I used to be really soft spoken too, so me like bursting out in laughter at something was really random. So I was bursting out laughing, thinking she was joking, and she goes, "What, Miss Junis?" And I'm like, like, "Oh, we're serious!" Like I had no concept, and I was like, "What?" And then she's like, "Yeah, and she goes, "I'm pro-colonialism. The reason why I am is because without it, we wouldn't have the technology we have today. We wouldn't have the travel that we have today." And a lot of these things are true, by the way.
Yeah,
we wouldn't, yeah. No. But this is the thing, right? And then I asked her the question. I hit her with this. I was like, "So you're saying you would miss your camera and miss traveling, right?" She goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "How would you miss something you never had?" Right? Pro-colonialism, like white people actually be tripping. That's just whack. But like, it's not even white people. Just her crazy old white ass.
I'm pro-colonial. I'm sorry.
Wanting fucking dumb shit. Anyways, of course. Anyways, so then a white girl in my class goes like, "Oh man, I can't imagine not having my cell phone." And my teacher goes, "See?" And I'm like,
but if you never had in the first place, if we had never had those things in the first place, how would you know what you miss? You would be used to a society without it.
Like, that's that real psycho shit. And that's why you should not have a white woman teaching an African Canadian studies class. Oh my goodness.
I think it's just a bit of a no-no right there. A huge no-no, if we're going to be honest. You don't teach that. That's not for you to teach.
What's not for you to teach? That's
not for you to teach. That I leave that to the person who,
Yep.
I don't, yeah. Wow.
You're trying to find a streamer to playing Claudio to improve? Look up Risky Luck. Risky Luck is a really great streamer to watch who plays Claudio.
Yes.
He's very consistent at streaming too. He plays like some Valorant recently, but he's a very strong Claudio player. If you ask him to play Claudio and teach you, he was more than happy to help.
Shadow's a little less active on the streaming, but Shadow does have bots, true. So that does exist. So there is definitely that information out there. I wish he streamed a bit more, but I think he's just not in the situation to do that. But he's so quiet-mannered, but he still has so much to offer in knowledge, hoping that he streams more with his quiet self. Such a sweetheart. As you eat into the mic, that's ASMR for you, baby. It's an ASMR. What you eating, though?
Still my burrito bowl.
From where? Oh my god.
Burrito bar.
I was about to say, fucking Chipotle. Look at you. Burrito bar? Okay, alright. We can be friends again.
It's actually a local place, so it's not like a chain or anything.
I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm. Chipotle be wildin' though.
You eating well though. You gotta feed me though. I'm hungry too. Like,
Bruh.
I just had a whole pizza and I'm still hungry. Like, what's wrong with me though?
Like,
I'm so serious. Like, I had a personal pizza. I want more. I need more. I just so hungry.
She's like, why did I order myself a medium? I would have ate that shit solo.
No, we made them at the crib, like, and they were good.
Ooh.
Like the fresh toppings, and I said,
ooh,
like,
what'd you put on yours? What'd you put on it?
Oh, here I go. Okay, I'm about to. Okay, so we got the thin crust round pizza thing. I put like a pile on my mug. So here's the pizza topping thing. I mean, here's the pizza, the crust, and then there's the pizza sauce, and then I put the sausage, the sweet sausage, because I love sweet Italian sausage. That's the name of it. So good. I am such a big fan of sweet sausage. Don't you say a word, because I know you're gonna say, oh, I'm sure you do like that sausage. I'll be like, yes, I do. But yes, anyway, yes, I like the sausage.
Pause. Did you just call out what I was gonna say before I said anything? I
read the future.
She just flat out, we just expose my ass for 2 seconds casually, mid-sentence. She goes, no, I know you're gonna say this, don't say this. You're gonna say, oh man, of course you love that sweet sausage, but don't say it, okay? And then she kept going, like, damn, bitch.
I knew, but yes, the sausage, and then the peppers, the red, the yellow peppers at the thing, and then the pepperoni, and then I put the mozzarella cheese, and then I put the spinach on top. And then it was like really high. and then I put that mug in the oven. Oh no, and mushrooms too. I put mushrooms in there too. And then we put that mug in the oven, and then we cooked that mug for like 12 minutes.
I'm sorry, it's like, yo, you just cooked my ass. I'm dead.
I know you, bitch. You can't fool me.
I know. You talk to me too much. I'm
exactly,
dead.
And I know you. And yes, I do like sausage in both ways. Yes.
Shadow 20Z. 20Z.
I have this shadow ounce. Like
yo, Shadow got that.
20 ounce.
20 ounce of shadow, baby, or 2 ounce of shadows.
Yo, so silly. But yes, Shadow is a great reference for really high level Claudio play, like at the peak, the highest high. Like that's my training partner, and I love him to death. He's a really close friend.
He's so sweet. He's so sweet.
He'll be like the quiet person but when something happens, he'll be like, "Hold on, let me get my Glock," and I'll be like, "Alright."
I talk to Junior a lot more than I talk to Shadow, but love them both anyways.
Yeah. The 20C brothers, and I said, that's exactly, yes. They're so sweet, inseparable, really.
Yeah. That shit mad wholesome.
Oh, shout outs to Junior for winning Frosties, and then kind of everything just died, the tournament scene, we kind of just couldn't go, but I think it was something that
2020 undefeated, Junior, yeah.
Yes, he... it was something I think that was like a long time coming for him, and he did a great job. He had the knowledge, but it was just like the time, he didn't have the time. Dude was always working. He works at
Red Lobster.
Yes, and he's like mad busy all the time. Every time I go over to Shadow's crib, Junior would come in, and I'm like, bless your heart.
He's like head waiter or like something like pretty high up there for there.
Yeah, he's been working there for like 5-6 years, and he'd be like, oh, hey, he's like, you caught me on a good day, he's able to come home, and then he'll play after working, and he'll play with me. Aww. And I'm like, they're his family. I just want those. I just want the small story. Okay, so the family's really sweet. They're very welcoming. My little brother is adorable. Loves me a lot. I love all of them. His name's Landon. Sweetie probably like 7, 8, probably like 10. I can't remember. But okay, so it was Valentine's Day, right? I didn't have a Valentine. Yep. My ass single. I got out of a relationship 3 years. Being Cuddle. What do? I went over to train. With Shadow. He's 50 minutes away. I was training with him, and so I spent like the whole day there. So I was eating as well. And then he paid for my food. His family paid for my food. His mom also gave me like a really cute Valentine's Day bag. And that meant the world to me because I was like, I don't have a Valentine. And I ended up asking somebody, but the point was like I physically was able to be with the people that I loved and their family, and then that's all I could ask for. So like, yeah. It's so nice having a training partner who's so sweet, but like, their family is like really like cool as well. I've been like cool with them maybe for like 3 years. Shadow and Junior for 3 years, but the family like recently, like maybe a year and a half. But all in all, good people.
That's so wholesome. That makes me so happy.
I was eating those Reese's Hearts for like hours. I love Reese's, but I was just like that kind of kindness. I don't know if his mom understands how much it meant to me, but it meant a lot. Because I was like, I played Tekken all day. But I played with them, and that's what mattered.
Okay, we're gonna answer one final question. Anyone with one final question, then we're gonna head off.
Be quick, because somebody's gonna get it before you. And
That's right. Eagle could be mad sad, and the only way you're getting your question answered is by subbing to our Patreon.
I want to say, oh wait, we need like an air horn. I need a soundboard, girl. I don't have a soundboard.
Bro, I have like voice changers. Oh, actually, I have this. What the fuck? I didn't even use this entire time. Hold up. Is it on right now? It might be on right now. Let me check. Bitch, you best believe I got this on. What?
Oh my God. Who is that? Is that you?
Could you spare some coochie, ma'am? Oh. Please. I need that pussy. No. Oh my goodness.
You sound like an alien and I'm scared. Who took Alicia's body? I want one. I need to find one. Can I get my voice as Morgan Freeman? I would like that. I would take that.
Oh, I have like a few of them. It's just like
Oh, what's the first thing?
Let me hit this one real quick. Let me hit this one.
Oh, sorry.
I'm 2008 Kanye.
Yes, auto-tune! I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, you wanna answer that one?
What was my mic?
No. Mine.
Oh. But
no, it should have been yours because you were the ones. I'm like, Kanye.
Yeah, I was like, we got names underneath us too, man. What's the first thing y'all gonna do when y'all get out of quarantine? Fuck. What?
Actually, I second this, and I sign, and I sign it. Yes.
Listen, I haven't seen my man since January. Okay. I'm loyal. I'm dying.
You said you were a loyal hoe. That's what you said.
I'm a loyal hoe. I'm a hoe for him, baby. I am dying. Okay.
Like, baby.
But I am so loyal, but I'm a hoe for that man. And that's after lockdown is over.
It's on. It's on.
Best believe.
Like,
best believe.
Yo, Omarion's gonna be playing in the back. You getting
Yo, Omarion!
Yeah. And I pray to the gods, and I said this to my significant other. I said, "You're going to work me, and I want that. Once this is done, I'm getting worked. Thank you." Like, there's no question. You can't be out here
being that fine and that far away. You can't do that.
That's a crime.
That's unacceptable behavior.
Crime, like, yo.
That's the first thing we're doing when we get out of quarantine, y'all. That's facts. Y'all are welcome for another episode of FGC. Welcome to Girl Alicia Life, and this is
Cuddle Core.
There you go.
I know, it took me a second. Forgive me.
Yeah, I just want to say that, like, we love you all. Thank you so much for being as amazing as you are, being as receptive as you are. We got real today. We had some good vibes today. We had some good laughs today. We love you guys so freaking much. And I hope that you guys continue to support us the way that you do. Make sure to sub to our motherfucking Patreon. Listen, we make this content for free once a month for you guys. This time we did it twice a month because we knew that the topics need to be brought up again. But if you want to support us, even doing this, having the bonus content, being a part of our Discord that's exclusive to Patreon, please go ahead and just drop 5 buckaroonies. Listen, only if it's within your means. Don't go outside of your means. But if you got 5 buckaroonies lying around and you can, drop us a little Happy Meal, you know what I'm saying? Like, we feel free to give us a little bit of that, a little dollary-doo. Like... So yeah, we'd really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Before we wrap up, we're gonna actually throw on another thank you to our patrons. So if you can actually go over to the slide of the patrons that we have currently. Special thank you to those people who subbed prior to today, which would be Jate, Pasta Herbs, Kyle, Chris, Dominic, Rel, and especially Sharpie and Cybris for really putting in that mad dollary due per month. We really appreciate that. Absolutely incredible of you. Let's actually throw on the slide of just Sharpie and Cybris alone for being our top 2 pledgers. We really appreciate that so much. And then the final one where it's gonna be just the ad of it together. The Patreon itself, if we can throw that one on there. Perfect. Cool. And make sure to check out FGC Woke at patreon.com FGC Woke to contribute to our Patreon for bonus episodes and content. Listen, guys, I know that we kind of sell out, but listen, anything to get that almighty dollar, baby. So I'm a sellout like I'm selling out like crazy, okay? I just want to say that we love you so freaking much from the bottom of our hearts. Are you streaming after this, or what are you up to after this? Yeah. I'm planning on streaming after... Yeah, I'm planning on streaming after this. I don't know, but big bet. So I'll see you next time. See you next time. I love you guys. Cuddle loves you guys.
You guys very much. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in.
Yep. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.
Well, that's the episode.